Chapter 1261. 5 Strings of Coins. Little brother, you want to pay 5 strings of coins. There are 24 of us, so we have 120 strings of coins. Let's talk about what to do first. When Lu Pan heard that he needed to pay 5 strings of coins, he was stunned. 5 strings of coins was 5,000 coins. In the past, it was considered not bad to save 2 strings of coins a year. Now, everyone had dozens of strings of coins, but 5 strings of coins was definitely not a small amount. Zhang Xiaobao nodded and said, "Okay, I actually want to take you to make cold jelly." "Little brother, I just make cold jelly. I don't need that much money." Gue began to wonder if the other party was a swindler. How much would 120 strings of coins be needed to make cold jelly? "Sister-in-law Gue, you're selling it for 2 copper coins per serving. How much is the cost?" Xiaobao asked. "Capital. I use broad beans and mung beans to make cold jelly. Usually, it's half a caddy of mung beans and half a caddy of broad beans, which makes 4 caddies of cold jelly. A lot of dregs have to be filtered out. I sell 2 batches a day. Each batch is 30 caddies. 1 batch of cold jelly can be scraped out about 3 taels. 200 batches. The ingredients are 7. 5 caddies of mung beans and 22 caddies of broad beans. According to the current grain price in Ezhou, 1 caddy of mung beans is 5 coins, and 1 caddy of broad beans is about 2.5 coins. That is to say, the cost of beans is about 94 coins. You're making 306 coins a day based on beans." Zhang Xiaobao saw that the other party was slow in calculating, so he said it out loud. Gue nodded repeatedly, "But I don't make that much money." "Of course, because you need sesame paste, garlic juice, sweet and vinegar soup. Especially the sesame paste and sugar, the price is not low. In a few days, the cucumber will be ready. I don't know if you'll put it in. If you put it in, the cost will increase, but the price won't go up. If the price is high, you can't sell 200 batches. You're using a higher cost to attract customers. Apart from this money, you don't need to spend money on water. Brother Lu and the others will pay for you. You don't need to spend money on firewood either. Brother Lu and the others will send it to you directly." Zhang Xiaobao analyzed and summarized some of the situation. Lu Pan had been frightened by Zhang Xiaobao's analysis before, and now he was still very scared. He asked, "How do you know that firewood is free?" "That's because many goods at the docks are packaged with wooden boards. Some goods have to be wrapped with wooden boards at all times, while some are directly dismantled on the spot to take out the things inside. That way, the boards are useless. Since you help them dismantle the boards for free, they'll naturally be left to you. When the time comes, you can take a portion of it home and give the majority to sister-in-law Gue to make cold jelly. Other people don't add soup when they sell cold jelly, but sister-in-law Gue purposely adds soup to quench your thirst, and it's cleaner than drinking raw water. Oh, this cost isn't right, because when sister-in-law Gue sells it to you, she always scrapes it a few times, not 3 taels per serving. However, you don't have to worry about sister-in-law Gue selling things at the docks. If someone comes looking for trouble, you'll settle it. At the same time, you don't have to pay any fees." It was as if Zhang Xiaobao had seen it with his own eyes. He explained everything. "You, little brother, are you in the intelligence business?" Lu Pan asked with his eyes wide open. Wang Wan chuckled and said, "No, we have to care about these seemingly small things. For ordinary people, every needle and piece of thread is a treasure. We need to know the approximate total income and average income, and at the same time, we need to understand how ordinary people live. Every small family, when put together, forms a big family. It's different from money, and it can't be expressed with just numbers. It's not a joke to worry about the people and think about the people. If you don't know the price of oil and salt, how can you pacify the people? The 2 of us look like we're from a rich family, but we care more about trivial things than you." Lu Pan and the others were stunned. They really couldn't understand why these 2 people from rich families knew so many things that had nothing to do with wealth. Listening to this girl's tone, there was a sense of superiority, just like when an official spoke. The difference was that compared to the official's words, it was more realistic, as if their lives had a lot to do with these two people. Brother, since you know, why do you still want us to make cold jelly? Gue, can't sell it alone, and we can't help her sell it. Lu Pan mentioned the cold jelly again. Zhang Xiaobao nodded. Of course, sister-in-law Gue, just tell me how much profit you make in a day. It's your net profit after deducting other money. Gue, counted with her fingers, lowered her head and said, About 120 copper coins. The main thing is that sugar, vinegar, and sesame paste are expensive, but there's not much salt. If you eat too much, it'll be too salty. The big sauce can be used many times. I put it in a gauze bag and cook it. They work and sweat, so if I don't put soup, they have to drink other water. Since I put it in, I'll just sell it. Anyway, more people will eat it. Zhang Xiaobao smacked his lips. The sesame paste is expensive because the sesame seed production is low. What is the Senongsi thinking? Do they think it's enough to just increase the grain production? With the improvement of the people's living standards, the demand for other goods is also. Forget it, let's get down to business. Sister-in-law Gue, the cost is really high. Brother Lu and the others have to help you carry water, help you transport the soup, and be responsible for helping you split the planks. They only need to put in half an hour every day, which is 15 hours, or they can split the money to help. In other words, basically, you're working for 2 people every day. This is because the imperial court is helping you bear part of the cost of raising the children. Because of your identity, you're exempted from any taxes, which is equivalent to one person earning 60 copper coins. According to the normal income, it's not a small amount, but you have the convenience of the docks. Do you want this little money? There are many other snacks at the docks. What a good location, what a good opportunity. If I do it myself, I can integrate the entire docks within half a year. If I don't earn 600 copper coins a day, I'll feel like I'm losing money. Even if you earn, you'll still lose money. Wang Wan interrupted. To make Xiao Bao waste so much time and only earn 600 copper coins a day, how much of a waste of talent. Lu Pan and more than 20 people were stunned again. What kind of person is this? He's too arrogant. He even wants to integrate the docks. Do you know how deep the waters are in the docks? 600 copper coins a day. It might be possible in dreams, but when you wake up, you'll be shocked. Liar. Definitely a liar. Lu Pan's gaze towards Zhang Xiaobao changed. He looked like he was going to catch him at any time. If he ran away when he saw through him later, he would definitely catch him back. He would cause him to lose a lot of wages. Zhang Xiaobao casually glanced and saw through the other party's thoughts. He took out 200 copper coins and slapped it in Lu Pan's hand. I'll give you 200 copper coins to cooperate with you. When you earn enough money, pay me back. You don't want interest? Lu Pan didn't believe it. No, let's see if the money is real. Zhang Xiaobao waved his hand. You don't want to invest? Lu Pan observed the money carefully. It was real, and it was very new. He rubbed it gently and it made a clattering sound. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. No. Then what are you after? Lu Pan now didn't treat Zhang Xiaobao as a liar, but as a fool. I'm really not short of money. I'll help you. I'm kind-hearted, okay? I do good deeds to accumulate merit, okay? I'll leave a good reputation, okay? Zhang Xiaobao continued to ask. Okay. Lu Pan shook his head up and down. Then, let's start making cold jelly now? Prepare the ingredients first. With your 120 copper coins, a total of 320 copper coins. Buy a lot of fava beans and mung beans. Just buy a little bit. Do you have Highland barley? Zhang Xiaobao asked the Highland barley. Yes, it's fed to animals now. It's only eaten in the northwest, where other things don't grow well. It's very cheap. Do you want to buy it? Lu Pan asked in confusion. Buy it. Even if you want to grind it, you have to change it. A small grind is too slow. If you have someone selling bean cakes, go buy them. In this season, there are pear eggs on the mountain. Buy them, change them to a big pot and build a big stove. The rest of you do carpentry and make wheelbarrows and wooden wheels. Buy the beans and soak them first. We'll come back in 2 days at noon. By then, you'll be almost ready, so don't sell it yet. Zhang Xiaobao finished his instructions and was about to leave. Lu Pan stopped him. Little brother, where do you live? If you don't come, how can we find you? Don't look for me. I promise I'll come, unless there's a special accident. In that case, I'll send someone to tell you. Don't worry, I've put in 200 copper coins. I haven't asked you for a receipt. If I don't come to pay, you can sell it anyway. Zhang Xiaobao naturally wouldn't leave his address for them. His identity would be exposed. After he finished speaking, he and Wang Wan strolled out of the door. The sky was already dark, and only the crescent moon of the 3rd day of the lunar month was hanging in the sky. It couldn't illuminate anyone at all. Lu Pan and his group sent Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan out of the door with various thoughts. They followed the two of them to the main road outside. When they saw the yamen runners patrolling the street, they turned around and went back. Zhang Xiaobao took out a small flashlight, turned it on, and shone it on the ground in front of him. He said proudly, "Fortunately, I'm prepared." As soon as he finished speaking, a flashlight covered the ground in front of him. People came out from various places to guard him and Wang Wan. After turning off his flashlight, Zhang Xiaobao smiled at Wang Wan. "Fortunately, I prepared a group of guards. When the flashlight signal was sent, the road became bright. Just now, you were using the flashlight to send a signal?" Wang Wan asked with a smile. "Absolutely." Zhang Xiaobao nodded with a serious face. Under Wang Wan's stare, he finally couldn't help but laugh. "Well, I actually wanted to experience the tranquility of the night with you." "Well, I actually didn't want to experience any tranquility. I just wanted the guards to be more prepared than me. Give me some face. Others are watching." "Who's watching?" Wang Wan asked. The road suddenly turned dark. There wasn't even the sound of breathing around them. "Tomorrow, we'll be doing weight training." Zhang Xiaobao's angry voice sounded in the night sky. Lu Pan and his group sent a few people back to each family to report that they would be back later. The torches were lit in the courtyard, and the rest of the people sat quietly around the 200 strings of coins. Even now, I still feel like I'm in a dream. Why did a good person have to take out money for us to buy things without asking for any benefits? What was he thinking? Lu Pan seemed to be talking to others, but also seemed to be talking to himself. Without waiting for others to speak, he said, "Could it be that a spy from another country has infiltrated Izhou's docks and wants to bribe us? Now, he wants us to lower our guard so that he can lead us to rebel in the end?" "Brother Lu, don't think blindly," Guia said. "How could there be a spy? Xiao Bao, Cuckoo, and Xiao Bei are all in Izhou. How could they let a spy live? Didn't you see a lot of outsiders at the docks? They're probably the intelligence personnel they sent. There were the most at noon today, and I felt like they were surrounding us. I don't think that person is bad. Maybe he's from a rich family and is looking for something to do. Especially that girl, I can tell from her eyes that she's a kind person. Maybe she's afraid of others killing a chicken. How could she be a spy?" Lu Pan still couldn't convince himself. He patted his leg with his hand and said, "That guy said that he would sell me a set of the Tang's best cosmetics for a few hundred copper coins. What's the internal price?" "The original price is more than 700 strings of coins." "Do you believe it? Why did you buy cosmetics?" Gui caught the main point and asked. I. Lu Pan was at a loss for words. "Sister-in-law Gui do you still need to ask? Of course it's for you. Brother Lu is alone. Why would he put on makeup? The best ones are waiting for the time to use. I have to ask Brother Zhang Xiaobao and ask him to get me a set next time. A few hundred copper coins for a few hundred strings of coins. It's cheap. I'll give it to my wife later." Someone in the crowd spoke loudly, and there was no lack of teasing in his words. Shoo shoo shoo, stop fooling around. Gue, don't listen to his nonsense. I just want to see you. Brother Lu, it's fine as long as you don't get cheated. Guer blushed and lowered her head. Fortunately, the light from the torch illuminated everyone's face. The atmosphere became awkward. Lu Pan didn't know how to speak. Mother, we're back. At this moment, a girl's voice came from outside. The courtyard door opened and a girl and a boy ran in holding hands. It's so lively. When the girl saw a group of uncles, she called out happily. The boy also showed an excited expression. It was good to have more people. It's late today? Lu Pan finally found an opportunity to speak. Today, Xiao Bei and the rest came. We ate a lot of canned food at night. Then, Xiao Bei and the rest sang a song. Not long after it ended, she sent someone to send us outside and gave each of us 3 cans of food. One is fish from the sea, one is lamb chop, and one is braised pork. The girl said happily and took out cans of food from the 2 people's school bags. Each person had 3 cans, a total of 6 cans. She put them in a row to show off. It's not easy for Xiao Bei and the rest to earn money. Why did you ask them for food? She said she would give it to you. Their family will definitely not pay for it. Their money is very useful, Gue said to her child. The girl pouted. I didn't ask for it. Someone said it was delicious, so she gave it to them. She also said that it's best to spend the money on us. They don't need to spend money at home. Yes, the girl is right. Lu Pan quickly protected her and pulled the girl to his side. He wrapped an arm around her and said, just take it. Remember to study hard and repay them in the future. Father, how do we repay them? The boy ran over and leaned on the other side of Lu Pan. Everyone directly ignored the way the boy addressed Lu Pan. One by one, they started to talk. Some said that they would repay him by becoming an official, some said that they would go to the Ministry of Works, and some said that they would become teachers in other schools. There were too many to enumerate. The courtyard became lively again. Lu Pan concluded, anyway, the 2 of you have to study hard. In the future, if I need you to do anything, you have to do it. Don't think that Xiao Bei and the rest are stupid. They gave you things for free. They are good to you, so you have to repay them. Otherwise, how could they be stupid enough to give things to others? He said that his name is Zhong Xiaobao. Lu Pan, who was educating the child, suddenly understood many things and was stunned. Brother Lu, what is Zhong Xiaobao? Guer asked. It's the 2 people who came to our house. The man is called Zhong Xiaobao. Lu Pan swallowed hard and replied softly. Isn't his name Zhong Xiaoyu? Yes, no. At first, when I asked him, he said that his surname was Zhang and his name was Xiaobao. I didn't believe him, so he changed it to Zhong Xiaoyu. When I was eating cold jelly, Gue, you said that there were suddenly many people at the pier at noon. They seemed to be surrounding us. He casually took out 200 strings of coins and threw them away. He said that he had cosmetics that were priced internally. He said that he could make us rich. Lu Pan began to summarize all the things. Brother, you mean? One of Lu Pan's brothers asked, but he couldn't finish his sentence. Another one continued, didn't sister-in-law Gue say that the girl's eyes are kind? Lu Pan nodded. No wonder his hands are so strong. I heard that he is very good at fighting. That's right, kind. Of course Cuckoo thinks that we are kind. Previously, when I heard their words, I felt that something was wrong. It seemed that no matter what, they could take care of everything. Heavens, such a huge meat pie has fallen on our heads. Quick, let's go back and rest. Tomorrow morning, we'll do as he says and buy whatever he tells us to. Gue, we've encountered an extremely good thing. You are the one who encountered it. Brother Lu is the lucky one. Did Xiaobao ask you anything else? Guer's eyes lit up. She felt that the night air was so comfortable to breathe. Lu Pan hugged the 2 children tightly. there is no need to ask. Xiao Bao directly guessed it. He said that I squatted there to eat. One was to give up his seat, which means that we have a good relationship. The other was to look at you from the side. At that time, you were the most beautiful. He said that I like you. He is so good. Good. Brother is also good. Someone started to shout again, but the others followed suit. Go away, a bunch of stinky men. I won't talk to you anymore. Come, girl, let's go back to the house. Ignore them. Study well at night, but don't be too tired. Gue stood up and pulled her daughter into the house. Lu Pan only had one child by his side. He glared at them. All of you go back. We have to wake up early tomorrow. Whoever dares to slack off will be punished. Brother, aren't you going home? It's late, and the road is dark. A person ran 2 steps to the door and turned back to shout. Yes, I will follow you back to your house. Lu Pan got up and chased after him. The group of people laughed and walked out. Let's go. I will send you to the house. I will come over early tomorrow morning. Lu Pan said to the boy in his arms. Father, everyone else has a father. You stay and send me and my sister to school tomorrow. I will have one too. The little boy was indeed more sensible because he was born in this era. Lu Pan hesitated, shook his head and said, Wait a few days. I will send you to school after I earn more money with Xiao Bao. 2 days passed quickly. While Lu Pan and the others were waiting, Zhong Xiaobao and Wang Wan came in the afternoon. Both of them brought things. Zhong Xiaobao carried 2 millstones in each hand. The millstones were not big, and each weighed about 15 kilograms. An ordinary person would be tired of carrying them, but it was not a problem for him. Wang Wan carried a few gears and triangular belts, as well as the shaft of the millstone. You are all here. We brought some things for you. Actually, you can do it yourself. I was afraid of wasting time, so I asked the inner courtyard of my house to do it. There are also a few parts. They are made of wood, so you will have to forge them. After forging and assembling them, the 2 millstones can be stepped on and turned. When Zhong Xiaobao saw them, he smiled and said. Wang Wan followed with a smile and said, 2 men, the gears in my hands are very heavy. My eyes are so kind. Don't you feel embarrassed to let me be tired? Be careful not to suddenly become unkind. The first reaction of Lu Pan and the others was to look around. Sure enough, they found a person waving his hand in a tree about 30 meters away from the courtyard. There was also a mirror-like reflection on the eaves of other people's houses about 50 meters away. They immediately guessed what it was. Immediately, someone ran in front of Wang Wan and Zhong Xiaobao, stretched out his hand cautiously, and took the things. Compared to your family's children, you are far inferior. They will definitely not be afraid of Xiao Bei, Wang Wan said with a smile. Lu Pan slapped his thigh and said, Yes, what are you afraid of? If you don't do anything wrong, you don't have to be afraid of ghosts. Xiao Bao, Cuckoo wants to see him even in her dreams. Whoever has a guilty heart will be afraid. Brother Xiao Bao, I didn't expect it to be you that day. I figured it out later. Everything has been prepared, and we are waiting for you to bring us rich. Good, first get rich, then get married. No matter what, we have to do a good job, right, Brother Lu? Zhong Xiaobao said as he patted the dust on his hands. Yes, Lu Pan said firmly. Then everyone started to get busy, especially the new wooden parts. After 2 hours, they were all done, waiting for Zhong Xiaobao and Wang Wan to assemble them. The two quickly installed 2 small grinding stones with gears, and then began to let everyone grind the cooked broad beans, mung beans, and barley. Zhong Xiaobao and Wang Wan were in charge of grinding the sesame seeds they brought. The small grinding stones turned quickly, and the sesame seeds were ground into fine powder, which was a mixture of sesame paste and sesame oil. After a while, there was a layer of sesame oil on top, and sesame paste at the bottom. The steamed bean cakes were also ground into powder, and mixed with sesame paste and sesame oil according to a certain ratio. Xiao Bao, are you faking it? Lu Pan couldn't help but ask. Why would I fake it? The bean flour is also very delicious, and there is sesame oil in it. It is more nutritious than normal sesame paste. I am lowering the cost while improving the nutrition and taste. How much would it cost to put all the sesame paste? If you don't believe me, you can try it. It tastes better, and there is no poison in it. Zhang Xiaobao explained. What about the barley? Lu Pan asked again. The barley was cheap, very cheap. There is starch in the barley, and it doesn't taste good because it is too smooth. But the starch jelly is smooth. I want to use rice, but it is too expensive. Who said that starch jelly can only be made from mung beans and broad beans? In the future, I will make different kinds of starch jelly, and I will use whatever is cheap as the raw material. Zhang Xiaobao still had to explain, otherwise, it would be easy for others to suspect that he was cutting corners. The information was not balanced, and of course, the profit would be less. The principle of starch jelly was to form the starch, and if it was not formed well, add a little bit of alum. Lu Pan smiled as if he had been taught a lesson. He looked around and asked again, will the starch jelly we make be delicious and cheap in the future? Absolutely. Why would I lie to you? What about the pears? Boil them so that there is no need to add sugar and vinegar. They are sweet and sour, so there is no need to spend so much money. Zhang Xiaobao didn't see the pear eggs, so he was afraid that they wouldn't buy them. They are piled up in the backyard. Who knows that they can replace vinegar and sugar? I thought they were used for something else. Lu Pan waved his hand, and immediately 2 people ran to the back to carry the basket of pears. Zhang Xiaobao was satisfied and said, very good. You will find that the soup boiled with pears is better than the one mixed with sweet and vinegar. I don't want to nag you, but you should use your brains more often. We are not as smart as you. No wonder you dare to say that you can make at least 600 strings of coins a day by consolidating the trading of the dock. You are really capable. Even if you don't show your identity, we believe you can do it. You are Zhang Xiaobao, and we think 600 strings of coins is too little for your identity. Lu Pan said very seriously. He was not flattering. The person opposite was not a stranger, but a legendary figure. Was 600 strings of coins a money for him? Well, then I have to show my skills. When I made it before, there was a lot of dregs, and it was a waste to throw them away. Today, I will tell you how to reduce the dregs. Zhang Xiaobao accepted the flattery calmly and began to further process the raw materials. Chapter 1262. As Zhang Xiaobao spoke, he took the remaining dregs and placed them in the courtyard to dry under the sun. While drying, he explained, the fiber of many crops is different from that of sesame seeds. Normally, when people encounter a lot of dregs, they will change to a small mill, which is time-consuming and laborious. In the end, they find that it is better to just throw it away. However, the small mill we use is different. It is made using the principle of leverage. When a person steps on it, the small mill can spin many times. Is this okay? Yes, it can continuously grind all the dregs into finer powder, but it takes a long time. If we want to shorten the time, we need to invest more in the foundation, increase the number of small mills, or use more advanced machinery. In fact, our great Tang now has this kind of technology and even more sophisticated machinery without using manpower. It is all thanks to the countless efforts of our great Tang's craftsmen. Xiao Bao, we all know that it is your and Cuckoo's work. Others can't compete for it, but you are doing your best to give it to others. However, we are not fools. We know who is good and who is bad, and who has done what. The emperor is good and has always supported you. Let me say something disgraceful. If the emperor doesn't support you, we will have thoughts of rebelling. Lu Pan listened very seriously, not forgetting to correct Zhang Xiaobao's mistakes in his words. This indirectly showed how popular Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were. Zhang Xiaobao quickly waved his hand. Let's not talk about this, let's not talk about this. What rebellion? Live well. I will also say something disgraceful. Cuckoo and I have decided on a major national matter, and we will kill whoever opposes it. We can give some benefits, but those who control a lot of resources must do as we say. Isn't that right, madam? I will talk about something else with sister-in-law Gue. Women should not interfere in men's matters, Wang Wan replied to Zhang Xiaobao. Then, she pulled Guer's hand and walked 2 steps away to continue talking. You don't interfere. War is a man's matter. Zhang Xiaobao mumbled, which made the others smile. He continued, what I just said was the important role of transforming science into productivity. Look at the grinding mill that we brought with us. You guys didn't have it before. It's very tiring to use a small grinding mill by hand, and it's very slow. Now, don't expect me to bring you such advanced tools. It involves military secrets, and the cost is too high. I'm bringing you to solve the problem using existing methods, not using technology. Otherwise, I won't be able to show my skills, right? Ha ha ha, that's right. Xiaobao is right. Lu Pan laughed heartily and echoed, no one dares to doubt Xiaobao's abilities. Otherwise, why would the people of Shang be afraid of you? It's good that you're afraid of me. Humans should have a heart of reverence. Otherwise, the world will fall into chaos. For example, Cuckoo and I also have things to fear. We're not afraid of gods or immortals. What we're afraid of is that the tradition of Yan Huang will be broken. Just now, we were talking about the mechanical application of production technology. Now, we will talk about a part of the inheritance of a nation's civilization, knowledge. Civilization has many meanings. There is applied knowledge, philosophical knowledge, spiritual connotation, and the factors that lead to the transition between the two. Civilization is very important. When Zhang Xiaobao talked about this, he became very serious. Usually, he could appear to be indifferent, but when it came to the problem of the nation's soul, he would be solemn and respectful. That was because other things were external, but this was the root. Lu Pan and the others couldn't help but change their attitude. They withdrew their relaxed smiles and asked, Xiaobao, is knowledge just reading books? Like what children learn now? Yes. You guys think that children learn knowledge in words. Knowing how to read and calculate is the purpose of going to school. But the truth is not so. Nowadays, children are accumulating knowledge. Language and mathematics are the foundation. It's convenient for them to learn geography and nature. In fact, geography and nature are really useful. For example, I'm asking you to dry the dregs now. It has a lot to do with knowledge. Under normal circumstances, things have fibers. It's too tiring to use a small mill to grind them. What do? It's easy to destroy the fiber structure. Fermentation is a very good method. It looks very simple. You guys just have to follow it and use the same method in the future. You can continue to crush things after a short period of fermentation. But what you learn is only to know how it is. Children study to know why it is. After many years, this method will no longer be knowledge, but common sense. Everyone who studies will know this principle. When people look at something again, they will not first think about why it is like this. Instead, they will think about why it is like this. This is the power of knowledge. Once a nation has mastered a lot of knowledge, it won't have much effect on internal competition. Everyone knows, and the competition will still be the same. However, it will have a great effect on the overall development of the nation. As Zhang Xiaobao spoke, he glanced at Wang Wan. Wang Wan had taught him a lot of things and let him go through a systematic learning process. To him, Wang Wan was not only his wife and support, but also a teacher. Of course, he had also taught Wang Wan a lot of knowledge. If the two of them really separated, the difference would not be as simple as half. Lu Pan and the others were even more serious. They looked at Zhang Xiaobao and tried to understand Zhang Xiaobao's words. It turned out that children went to school for this purpose. It was not just to read newspapers and calculate, but to increase the family's income. Taking a deep breath, Lu Pan looked at Zhang Xiaobao with admiration and said, Xiaobao, are you saying that children will have more ways to earn money in the future? You and Cuckoo were thinking too far ahead when you first took action. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. No, in the future, everyone will have a lot of knowledge. It's impossible to rely on this knowledge to make a lot of money, unless we leave the Tang Empire and go out to earn money. Learning skills will make everyone's lives more comfortable. Let me give you an example. Where there is a flood now, the locals still drink well water and river water like before, and it's easy for them to get sick. After mastering knowledge, it will be common knowledge. When people see their home flooded, the first thing they will think of is hygiene. For example, they will think of ways to drink water, burn the bodies of dead animals, pay attention to keeping warm, and adjust their emotions. Also, when they see their family members suddenly short of breath, their faces turn red, and their pulse becomes strong, those who have learned will first think about why, and then simply treat it from the surface, such as physical cooling and artificial respiration. Brother Lu, you will know in the future. 10 years later, when many people go to the doctor in the clinic, they will say to the doctor before the doctor asks, "I feel that my body is a little hot. I just tested the body thermometer, and my temperature is 38.5 degrees. My throat is a little sore, and when I touch it, there is a big lump. I suspect that it's tonsillitis. Can you take a look and see if it's true?" Then when the doctor sees them and asks them about their usual things, they will say, "I was tired a while ago, mainly because I did a lot of work and didn't rest well. I couldn't sleep at night, and the place where I worked was dusty, so I didn't wear a protective mask. Recently, I mainly ate spicy food, and there was a small conflict at home. There are always a few hours every day when my mood is unstable. I tried to take Bezor antidote pills, but it didn't have any effect, and I had diarrhea." Zhong Xiaobao said to Lu Pan. What he said was the normal situation of people at his time. Before going to the hospital to see the doctor, he had to make a general judgment. Lu Pan was stunned and asked in surprise, Can it be like this? Then wouldn't we all become doctors?" "No, if it's a small illness, you will first judge it and then take some medicine. Once you find that it's not good, you will definitely see the doctor. Learn, first of all, know your own situation, then understand what the doctor needs to consider, and then cooperate with the doctor better to treat your own illness." The power of knowledge is once again reflected. If you have time, read books and go to the night school. The knowledge I just said is something that a child can learn in 10 years. When a child is young, ordinary people don't have a thorough understanding of knowledge. If you go to adults to learn, in less than 10 years, the adult's analytical ability is better than the child. It's also very useful for you to learn in 6 or 7 years. Don't tell me you can't live after 6 or 7 years. Or don't you want to live after 6 or 7 years? Now, it's easy for us Tang people to learn knowledge. Cherish it. Zhong Xiaobao advised earnestly. He knew too well what it meant for a nation to be strong. It could make the whole world tremble. For example, when he and Wang Wan came over, they achieved a lot because they had enough knowledge. In fact, if any normal person came over at that time, they would rise, but the degree of their rise would be different. For example, the composition of gunpowder, or the principle of planting vegetables in the wrong season, if they didn't know, they would definitely be stupid. How stupid was he back then? Graduated from the acrobatic class? For the current era, it was another way of saying it. When the people of the Tang Dynasty mastered the knowledge, they could use it as much as possible. It was like why people of the Qing Dynasty and the Republic of China went abroad to study. At that time, when foreign missionaries came over, the locals would actively help to build churches, and the government had to treat them with respect. Why? Wasn't it because they had a little knowledge of physics, chemistry, and medicine, so the status of missionaries was like a god? Sigh. Zhong Xiaobao sighed and continued to say to Lu Pan and the others, "Anyway, it's not wrong to listen to me. You have never experienced it, so you will never know how painful it is to be oppressed by knowledge. When you have more contact with other countries in the future, you will be grateful to me. We are very grateful to you now. Xiaobao, I'm not afraid of you laughing at me, but I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes we chat and are very puzzled." Lu Pan took 2 steps forward and patted Zhong Xiaobao's shoulder. He looked around nervously and was relieved when there were no bullets flying toward him. Yes, it's very magical. Isn't it? I can't figure it out. I guess it's like what Xiaobao said, we are uneducated. Then what is going on? The others echoed. Zhang Xiaobao was confused by their words. He looked around and said, Big Brother Lu, I'm also puzzled. I'm puzzled, what are you puzzled about? Xiaobao, we usually chat about the relationship between money and life. You see, we have to spend the money we earn. When other businessmen earn money, they have to spend it. But your family earns more, and your family usually gives us money for free. In the end, as we talked, we found a problem. Our lives are better, and the businessmen have more money, but your family's income doesn't decrease. Don't you think it's strange? Normally, when someone earns, someone loses, right? Lu Pan said what was on his mind. His eyes widened, and he waited for Zhang Xiaobao to explain. Chapter 1263. When Zhang Xiaobao heard this, he immediately knew what Lu Pan and the others were asking. It was nothing more than the amount of money in the world, and now it was all about how to increase the amount of money. Zhang Xiaobao did not want to reason with them, so he directly said, Brother Lu, let me ask you something. Dig out the soil from the ground, a foot thick, and put it on a wooden frame, and plant something inside, will it grow? Grow, it needs to be watered, just like planting flowers. Lu Pan answered. Dig out a foot of soil and plant something, will it grow? Zhang Xiaobao asked again. Grow. Someone else answered. If I dig out another foot of soil from the ground and plant again, will it grow? Zhang Xiaobao asked again. Of course it will grow. Lu Pan rushed to answer. Zhang Xiaobao nodded. Yes, our money is the same as the soil. In the past, we only planted a foot of soil, but there is still a lot of soil below that can be planted. Now that we have more money, it is just like digging up soil, but the soil below is raw soil. After a period of time, it will become mature soil, right? Aya, Xiaobao, you are so knowledgeable. In the past, someone told us this, but we did not understand, and we were embarrassed to say that we did not understand. Xiaobao, you are so good, once you say it, we understand. That person is really hateful. Xiaobao, do you know what he said? It sounds like a book from heaven. Lu Pan clapped his hands and said happily. He finally understood. Zhang Xiaobao pondered and said with a smile, Brother Lu, let me give you an example. Did he say that the soil in the world nurtures the things in the world, the roots of the things in the world are an inch deep, and an inch of soil nurtures an inch of things? This is the principle of the world, but the soil is only an inch thick. An inch of soil nurtures. Is it not out of the ordinary? No, if the soil is 9,000 feet thick, it will nurture 9,000 things. This is the case. That's right, Xiaobao. That's exactly what he said to us. Anyway, we didn't understand. He's just bullying us. Xiaobao, now I know we have to go to night school. This is too much of a bully. Who does this? He is looking down on us. Learn, we must learn. Xiaobao, you're a good person. We know that you're much better than him. You've always been straightforward with us. It's not that you don't understand, it's just that you don't want to. Next time I see him, I'll beat him up. Lu Pan's face was filled with grief and indignation. He had been tricked by someone using knowledge. At that time, he and the others had to pretend that they understood, afraid that they would be looked down upon. But in reality, the matter was that simple. Why couldn't that person speak properly? When Wang Wan heard this, she couldn't help but laugh. Holding Guerre's hand, she turned around and said to Lu Pan and the others, Brother Lu, he really deserves to be beaten. He thinks he can bully people just because he has learned something. However, you can't hurt him. After you beat him up, send him to the yamen and tell them the reason why you beat him. The yamen will deal with him. When Lu Pan heard Wang Wan's words, he felt embarrassed and scratched his head. I'm just saying. Why would I beat him up? Who asked me to not be capable enough? If it were you or Xiaobao, he would dare to speak the same way. You would use the same words to confuse him. Wrong, Brother Lu. If he really dared to speak to us like that, I would beat him up too. After I beat him up, I would call my younger brother Xiao Yuan over and let Xiao Yuan speak to him using the same method. If he can't answer, I would continue to beat him up. Zhong Xiaobao laughed as he spoke to Lu Pan. Why? Lu Pan had heard that Xiao Yuan could read 10 lines at a glance and had a photographic memory. However, after beating someone up, it didn't seem right to bully them. No reason, I just don't like him. If he doesn't speak properly to normal people, shouldn't he be beaten up? Send him to the yamen and the yamen will arrange for him to teach students. Aren't you just showing off your high literary standards? I'll give you a chance. Zhong Xiaobao laughed until he clutched his stomach. Lu Pan laughed along and said, Don't the yamen officials support him? The yamen officials are more capable. Wang Wan continued, Brother Lu, don't worry, the yamen officials won't support him. If any yamen official supports him, when Xiao Bao and I give political and economic orders, we will use the same terminology. If the yamen official doesn't understand, we will use all our strength to teach him a lesson. Or, if the yamen official is sick and goes to the medical hall, the doctors will use this method to treat the yamen official. Every profession has its own specialization. Just like carrying jobs at the docks, hard objects are hard objects, and soft objects are soft objects. Oh, that is to say, when you carry hard objects, you have to use all your strength in the area you are carrying. When you carry soft objects, you have to relax the area you are carrying. Even your feet have to follow the soft force. Most people don't know that carrying once or twice is not a problem, but if you carry it a few more times, you will definitely get injured. This is knowledge. Everyone has something they don't know. Who dares to say that they know everything? Lu Pan and the others were shocked to the point that they were numb. Sister Cuckoo, what you said doesn't include you and Xiao Bao, right? Why can't I see that the two of you have something you don't know? You even know about carrying jobs at the docks. Yes, you are right. If you relax with hard objects, you will feel more and more painful. It will be like knives stabbing into your body. You have to use all your strength and endure through it. If you force yourself with soft objects, when you walk, the springboard will go up and down. You will feel that there is no place in your stomach that doesn't hurt. You can only use your strength to walk. It's like diving. If there are no calluses in the area where the pole is placed, you will have to be hard. When you walk, your legs have to be soft. Otherwise, if your shoulders hurt, who will spill the water? It's easy for you to watch others jump without using your hands to support them. If you look closely, his upper body is not moving at all. It's the softness in his legs that causes him to jump up and down. Sister Cuckoo, you have to take care of yourselves. With the two of you who truly care about us, we can only live to see the light of day. Yes. Big Brother Lu is right. The two of you don't live for yourselves. If there is danger, just give us a shout, and we will rush forward. What's that saying again? One of the men carrying the pole added. Lu Pan continued the conversation and said, I know. When I was in Luzhou, someone said that at that time, there was a torrential flood, dark clouds covered the world, and the faint roars of dragons could be heard. They were afraid that the immortal court would punish the mortal world under orders. They were in a panic. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo held hands and pointed to the sky, asking the immortals if they dared to fight. The dragons retreated in fear, the clouds dispersed, and the moon and stars appeared. Lu Pan was truly shocked and touched. In his opinion, Xiao Bao and Cuckoo were high and mighty existences. People said that the two of them dared to go against the heavens. How frightening was that? Otherwise, why did Xiao Bao say that he was not afraid of gods and immortals just now? From what others saw and said with their own eyes, it could be seen that the two of them did not care about immortals at all. They must have come down from the heavens. However, what if they were accidentally hurt by mortals? With their status, they actually knew what they did every day. Was there anything more considerate than this? As he thought about it, Lu Pan actually cried. He wiped his tears and said to Zhong Xiaobao and Wang Wan, Actually, let me tell you too, the mortal world is very good. The mortal world of Tang is better. You still have your parents, grandparents, brothers, and sisters. Don't be in a hurry to go back. If anyone makes you unhappy, you can tell us. We will make that person unhappy, which is also a kind of happiness. Go back. Go back to where? Zhang Xiaobao felt that he had entered a mental hospital. What nonsense was this? Dragon retreated in fear? He had never seen one before. If he really saw one, he would think of a way to catch it and see if it was a new species. Go back to the heavens. Lu Pan explained. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head hard. No, it's so cold up there. It's hard to even breathe. It's not as good as the mortal world. If there is a chance in the future, we have to bring an oxygen tank. Otherwise, we will die. I see. It's not good to be an immortal. Lu Pan understood. Zhang Xiaobao was really out of ideas. He waved his hand and said, "Make cold jelly. Everyone, do it together. It's very simple. Sister-in-law Gue, you are in charge." No one asked how much the cold jelly would be sold. They obediently started to work. 4 hours later, it was dark again. Zhang Xiaobao didn't even use an abacus or pinch with his fingers. He directly calculated in his mind. He happily said to the tired and confused people, "The cold jelly we made now is 3,000 kilograms. If we sell it normally, according to our new conversion rate, it will be 10,000 servings. Including sesame paste and other things, the cost is 3,100 copper coins." Hearing Zhang Xiaobao's words, the others didn't respond. Zhang Xiaobao had to explain in detail. In the past, 60 kilograms earned 120 copper coins. That is to say, 1 kilogram earned 2 copper coins. Now it's 3,000 kilograms, so we should earn 6,000 copper coins. But how much should we sell it for? 20,000 copper coins. But our current cost is 3,100 copper coins, not including the part that is being fermented outside. If we still sell it at that price, we will earn 16,900 copper coins. 3,000 kilograms is 50 times the price of 60 kilograms. That is to say, according to the original ratio, it will be 338 copper coins. The net profit is not 300 copper coins. After deducting the gross profit of the beans, the net profit in the past was 120 copper coins. If we include the fermented outside, our current profit is at least 3 times. 3 times is 360 copper coins. Hearing this, everyone understood. 3 times, and it seemed that it wasn't just 3 times. There was still a lot of fermented outside. Maybe it could even reach 4 times. Xiaobao, 3 times is 3 times. How do we sell it? Lu Pan was worried. Haven't you finished the carriages I asked you to make? I counted just now. There are a total of 31 carriages. You guys spend a few days to make 90 carriages. When the time comes, we will sell them wholesale. Anyone who wants to sell can lend a carriage to us. We will only earn 1.5 times the original price of 60 kilograms of 120 copper coins. We will give the other 1.5 times the profit. When the fermented outside is done, I will make some new things. We will probably earn less than 4 copper coins per kilogram. Isn't it a good deal? We don't need to sell it. As for where others will sell it, I will plan the area. The weather is getting hotter, the cold jelly is getting more and more popular, and our taste is getting better. Such a big wharf, we will distribute 20 of them, and the rest will be distributed to other places. In the future, we will not sell it. We will focus on making liangpi. As the process improves, I believe the cost will be lower. Especially when you guys are buying, the price is really high. I don't know how you guys negotiated. Zhang Xiaobao had already thought about it. He would make a series of cold jelly. After all, a single flavor was not enough. Lu Pan had an idea, Xiaobao, according to what you said, we are not enough people. We still have to work at the wharf. We can't keep making cold jelly. There is no need for you guys. You are all men, so you should do other things. Women can do cold jelly. You guys have women at home, right? Look at the work you did before. If the money is not enough, come over and increase the scale. Now it is only 10,000. which is really not much. How many people are there in Izhou? How many people are there at the wharf recently? In the past, sister-in-law Gue sold 60 kilograms of cold jelly a day. Now, even if she sells 60 kilograms of cold jelly, the money she earns is twice as much as before. Then, 3,000 kilograms is 50 times the original amount. She can hire 20 people and give each of them 1% of the current income. She should be satisfied, right? The remaining 30 people's amount will be earned by sister-in-law Gue alone. Are you scared? Let's calculate at least twice as much. Sister-in-law Gue can command people and earn 7,200 copper coins a day. Zhang Xiaobao continued. He was waiting for the right time to form a chain brand. Lu Pan thought about it and felt that it was right. He was worried, why would others buy from us? Can't they make it themselves? In fact, there are 24 people selling cold jelly at the wharf. The wharf area is very big and there are several unloading ports. There are also people selling cold jelly in the shops. Because our cost is low, and the supply cost is much lower than their production cost, it is also very tiring to produce. At the same time, our taste is good, and there will be a series of new flavors in the future. This is called industrial centralization and scale. Of course, the one who is really paying is me. My labor cost is the highest. I provided the new raw materials and technology, and I provided the follow-up technology. As for my identity as Zhang Xiaobao, how much do you think it is worth per hour? I calculate according to the annual increase of assets. Every minute is more than 100 copper coins. If it was not for the sake of making an example, do you think I would come here to sell cold jelly? Wouldn't it be better for me to sleep by myself? Wouldn't it be better for me to make 2 delicious dishes for Xiao Bei and the rest? Zhang Xiaobao said as if he was complaining. Lu Pan and the rest reacted. Indeed, he was Xiaobao. Moreover, he was not wasting only Xiaobao's time, but also Cuckoo. Then I'll try. Find other people selling cold jelly. In fact, there are more than 90 people selling cold jelly in Izhou. Lu Pan asked in a low voice. Go ahead. Remember to raise the price and let them bargain. Don't think of monopolizing all the cold jelly sellers in Izhou. That will be troublesome. Only with a comparison can there be a market. Zhang Xiaobao waved his hand. Then he remembered that this was not his home, so he said, Let's go. I'll tell you how to make other flavors in 2 days. It's dark now. Brother Lu, if you go out, won't other people be sleeping? Guer smiled and said, Let them go. It's far away. They may not arrive until tomorrow noon, and they have to rent a horse. If they go in the middle of the night, other people will be busy. Soaking beans, grinding, and cooking all take time. Selling cold jelly is very tiring. It saves a lot of time and money. They will definitely be willing. Zhang Xiaobao was relieved. He followed Wang Wan out, and people continued to light up the place with flashlights. You don't look very happy. Wang Wan observed Zhang Xiaobao on the way and asked. Because the technical content is too low. Others can learn it, but the people I hired learned it for 2 days and found it so easy, so they made it by themselves. Zhang Xiaobao answered. Then you don't look very sad. Wang Wan asked again. Because we can sign a 3-month contract first and increase the compensation. Zhang Xiaobao answered again. Why 3 months? Wang Wan didn't want to waste time thinking about it. It will be autumn in 3 months. It's very hot in Izhou in autumn. The cold jelly is more popular, and it can't be restricted by the contract. Besides, the 3-month contract has already formed a brand advantage in one area. When I release 2 flavors, who can shake this position? Zhang Xiaobao was like a loser, answering feebly. Wang Wan thought for a while and understood. She stared at Zhang Xiaobao and said, Everything is within your calculations. You pretend to be pitiful. Are you playing the pig to eat the tiger? I've decided. Tonight you will count the moon. Zhang Xiaobao looked up at the moon in the sky and said awkwardly, Count the arc? Is it the inner arc or the outer arc? You know, the moon, she, is not a perfect circle. Chapter 1264. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan returned home, they deliberately went to the courtyard where their younger siblings lived. The lights were still on, but they couldn't hear the sound of the diesel generator because the generator was placed very deep underground. Some of the wires were pulled out to the government office, some to the medical center, and the rest was used to light their own home. The two walked into the courtyard, waved at the people who wanted to greet them, and went straight to the window. Inside, the 9 little guys were discussing a problem. To be precise, they were correcting the mistakes Xiao Bei made during the day and thinking of ways to make up for it. After listening for a while, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan understood. During the day, Xiao Bei discussed with people who were hired by Li Xiaojiang. They were all in the same industry, animal husbandry, and wanted to go to the newly occupied land to build a ranch together. According to the ideas of her brother and sister, Xiao Bei painted a pie in the sky for a group of adults. She said that safety was guaranteed, alfalfa was easy to grow, and the yield was high. They could also grow other crops without any rent or taxes. Whether it was grain, alfalfa, or the livestock raised, the country would buy them at a high price and directly send ships over. At the same time, the goods in the country would be sold to the ranchers at a discounted price. What Xiao Bei said was correct, but when she mentioned the shepherd dog, she promised to sell it to other ranchers. At that time, she spoke with assurance, and the livestock merchants listened attentively. Then, they were all enraptured. Xiao Yuan and the other 8 people were indifferent. When Xiao Bei raised her hand to vote, the 8 of them raised their hands together and passed. After passing in front of others, the 8 of them began to surround Xiao Bei and talk about it when they returned home. The reason was that Xiao Bei sold the dog. The dog's breeding cycle was short, and Song Dakong had already bred in the end. Wouldn't their cooperation with Song Dakong be a loss? Xiao Bei didn't say things like, "You just agreed, but now you're going back on your word." She knew that when facing outsiders, the 9 of them were absolutely the same. If there were differences, they would talk at home and not give others any chance to sow discord. Now, the 9 children were discussing how to make up for the loss. "We didn't sign a contract with them before, right? Can we?" Xiao Fang reminded. "No." Xiao Jiang shook his head. "We're different from others. Our words are more credible than a contract. If we make a promise, we won't regret it." Xiao Bei sighed. "It's all my fault. I got too excited and sold the dog. We don't blame you, and we don't regret it. Since we chose you, we will fully support you no matter what you do. If it really doesn't work, we will raise the price." Xiao Chong did not intend to hold anyone responsible. "The price is basically the same. It's not good to raise it too much. We have to think of a way." Little Yuan imitated his elder brother and tapped his face with his finger, as if he could become smarter. "If you really can't do it, ask Big Brother. Big Brother will definitely have a good idea, right? Anyway, we're all younger siblings. There's nothing to be embarrassed about." Xiao Bei wanted to make up for what he had done wrong. Xiao Hai said in support, "It's fine if we don't lose face, but we have to think for ourselves first. If we keep asking our brothers and sisters, we will become dependent on them in the future. Our brothers and sisters don't want to see a group of brothers and sisters who don't have their own opinions and are only obedient. Think about it. Think about it first. If you can't think of anything, ask him tomorrow morning," Xiao Bei said loudly. Zhang Xiaobao, who was eavesdropping outside, pulled Wang Wan. The 2 of them turned around and left carefully. "Where are we going?" Wang Wan asked when she saw that Zhang Xiaobao was not walking towards the resting area. "The kitchen. I'll make supper for them." Zhang Xiaobao answered and quickened his pace. When the 2 of them reached the kitchen, there were still people busy cooking. Influenced by the work and rest schedule of the inner courtyard, the kitchen worked 24 hours a day. "Young master, are you hungry?" The person in charge of the kitchen greeted. "Where are the leftovers from last night? Bring me, the amount that is normally enough for 5 people. Bring the whole pot. Don't be picky." Zhang Xiaobao did not explain and asked directly. The steward asked someone to bring the leftovers and waited at the side. After a while, the person who brought the leftovers came back with a pot. In fact, it was the leftovers from cooking in a big pot. The leftovers were snatched from the sides of the pot and became a pot. Under normal circumstances, the white rice on top could be used to cook porridge, while the rice crust below was specially used to cook vegetables or steam things. Zhang Xiaobao took it and looked back and forth. He was very satisfied and nodded to the steward. Holding the bowl, he followed Wang Wan to his own small kitchen. Wang Wan sniffed. The smell was very good, better than the plain rice. There was a faint smell of paste in it. She asked, "Do you want to make smoked chicken?" "No, I haven't cooked chicken yet." "What's there to smoke? Just make rice crust." Zhang Xiaobao put the pot on the chopping board and picked up a small sawtooth knife at the back. It was very similar to a Western kitchen knife. He measured it back and forth, trying to find a suitable place to cut. "It's already rice crust. Let someone scrape out the rest of the rice inside. The rest can be eaten directly." Wang Wan picked up a spoon and planned to scrape with it. Zhang Xiaobao put down his hand and began to cut. He divided the pot into small cubes. The outermost circle was curved. Then he stood the cubes up and used the knife to cut in the direction of the cubes. With the first cut, the outermost layer of rice was cut out. With the second cut, the middle part was separated from the last slightly black paste. Every small piece was processed like this. After a while, Zhang Xiaobao finished processing the ingredients and said to Wang Wan, "Find a pancake and spread the rice crust." Wang Wan knew where the pancake was placed. She walked over and took it. She brushed it with water and put it on the stove. "Are you sure you want to spread it and not dry stir-fry? Is there a difference?" Zhang Xiaobao smiled. "If it's dry stir-frying, it's more convenient for me to use an iron plate. I need to bake and light the fire. You help me look after the pot. I'll prepare the other 2 pots." As Zhang Xiaobao said, he lit the fire and threw in the blackest part of the rice crust. He spread out the spatula and let Wang Wan help him look after it. Zhang Xiaobao found a big spoon, washed it, and put it on the other stove. He also lit the fire and put a little oil. He watched the oil melt and spread to the side as the temperature rose. He shook the big spoon to let the oil spread to every part of the pot, leaving only a thin layer. When the oil started to smoke, he poured out the extra oil at the bottom of the pot and reduced the fire. He continued to bake the big spoon on the top of the pot. When the oil was no longer visible to the naked eye and gradually dried, he poured the rice on the top of the pot. After a few bakes, the rice turned yellow. He put it next to Wang Wan and let her continue to bake it. Zhang Xiaobao only had the middle part of the rice crust left. He took out a flat net made of iron wire and carefully put the rice crust on it. He then took out charcoal and waited for the charcoal to be completely red. He took a thin piece of iron plate and rubbed it with ginger. He then covered the iron plate with the iron plate and used the charcoal to bake the rice crust on the iron plate. Wang Wan looked at him and frowned. "This is troublesome. Looking at the situation, the rice crust in your hand is the best, right?" "Yes, the rice crust in my hand has a little burnt smell. It's crispy and chewy. The fragrance of the rice and the rice crust are mixed together. When you eat it, it will make crunching sounds when you chew it. When you yell it in your mouth, it will be as chewy as a rice cake. When you process it later, just add a little salt." Zhang Xiaobao's eyes were fixed on the iron wire. From time to time, he put his hand to the side to test the temperature. Occasionally, he would dip his finger in some saliva and bake it to see how fast it would dry. Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao's serious expression and didn't know what to say. No wonder Xiao Bei and the others didn't like to eat outside and always pester her brother to cook at home. It was purely because they were spoiled. They really didn't get tired of eating good food and didn't get tired of eating small things. They were all very picky. Wang Wan turned her head and continued to look at the rice crust in front of her. From time to time, she would use a spatula to turn it over so as not to bake it. If the little ones tasted it and immediately threw it aside, it would be very troublesome. When she thought that the two kinds of rice crust in her hand might be worse than the one in Xiao Bao's hand, Wang Wan was puzzled and asked, "Since you're better at cooking, why don't you ask people to bring more rice?" "There's no need to keep me busy. It's not the same. Things have to be divided into different grades to show which is better. Without comparison, there is no good or bad. If you compare the three kinds of rice crust to them, they will understand that the quality of things is the same even if they're not called the same. Like the one in my hand, it takes a lot of effort to make and the ingredients are very particular. If you sell it, the price will be higher than the rice that I fried. When the time comes, when I say that I'll sell you the rice crust, I'll sell you the rice crust. As for the rice crust that you're baking now, you can taste it a little and then smell it. As for the one in my hand, it can only be encountered but not sought. It can only be seen from afar and not touched." Zhang Xiaobao took a small pair of tweezers and began to flip the rice crust. His movements were gentle, but his speed was very fast. Wang Wan laughed. "So you're saying that your rice crust is lotus-flavored? If you throw it into the mud, won't it get mud? Then you have to put a lot of oil on it. Otherwise, the rice crust will eat a lot of water. You're so talkative. If you say that your rice crust is good, will other people believe you?" Wang Wan rolled her eyes at Zhang Xiaobao and asked again. "If they don't believe it, we can compete. Hold a rice crust competition, set up the rules and projects, and then give the final score. Whoever has the highest score will have the leftover rice crust. From then on, they can't sell it and can only rent it. They can only rent it for 2 days to smell it and then send it back. Do you want to continue renting it?" As he spoke, Zhang Xiaobao finished baking the rice crust in his hand and continued to put new ones on it. Wang Wan was stunned when she heard Zhang Xiaobao's words. Then, Wei Wei shook her head and the corners of her mouth rose, revealing a gentle smile. Understood. Everything was clear now. Xiao Bei and the others were thinking of ways to make up for their mistakes during the day. They could not sell it, and they couldn't find an excuse to raise the price. They wanted to come over and ask their older brother, Xiao Bao, and Xiao Bao was now providing them with an idea. He was using supper to guide his younger siblings to solve their problems. If the teachers of Tang Dynasty were as omnipotent as Xiao Bao and could reach such a level, other than those with particularly low intelligence, there wouldn't be any stupid students in Tang Dynasty. No, even if their intelligence was low, Xiao Bao would definitely nurture them into geniuses. For example, the child with very low intelligence had a very thorough understanding of music. Usually, when he was walking, he would follow the rhythm when he heard the song. In the end, he was actually able to conduct a symphony. Xiao Bao, your education method isn't something that anyone can imitate. It takes too much effort. Many of the children that Xiao Bei and the others provide funds to raise have low intelligence. Can you educate them one by one? Wang Wan said to Zhang Xiaobao. In fact, she wanted to express the bitterness in her heart. There were too few people like Xiao Bao. If there were more, would Tang Dynasty be better? Isn't a teacher's job to spend effort to educate children? I wasn't the one who said that there would be no discrimination in education. What is intelligence? Using a rule to classify all the children in the world. The human brain is complicated. If it could be studied thoroughly, humans would have become gods long ago. Since it can't be studied thoroughly, why should we use an incomplete standard to classify others? In the future, he would specially nurture a group of teachers and give them a salary so high that it would shock others. Hard work would be rewarded. He could use the so-called low IQ children as the evaluation criteria. Whoever taught well and nurtured the child's talent would be qualified to receive a large sum of money. I believe that someone will succeed. Didn't I say that when God closes a window, Allah kicks the door open and says Amitabha? That Amitabha is filled with sweet sorrow. The immeasurable deity. Zhang Xiaobao changed the rice crust again. Be careful, Su Jimao will fight with you. I finished roasting the rice crust on the claw. Do you want to add any seasoning? Wang Wan grabbed the rice crust that Zhang Xiaobao made and threw in the rice that Zhang Xiaobao made. Wait, I'll be done in a while. I only put a little salt in my hand. You have to make it into a seafood flavor. Make the rice crust from before into a barbecue flavor. When Xiaobei and the others taste it, they will know that the more complex the taste, the better. Things that look simple may not be simple. Zhang Xiaobao was still roasting his rice crust unhurriedly. After 10 minutes, Zhang Xiaobao finished his work. He placed all the rice crust on a big chopping board, took 2 steps back, grabbed a handful of refined salt and threw it into the sky. In the process of falling, he waved his sleeve and scattered the floating salt over the rice crust. He picked up a rice crust and tasted it, saying, "Good, the salt is scattered very evenly." When you eat it, there is a little taste. When you taste it carefully, you find that it is not salty at all. Waste of salt. Wang Wan said. The main thing is that the salt is cheap. There is an endless supply of salt in the sea. The price of salt is not high. If the price is high, do you think I can still throw it casually? No, if the price is high, I have to clean it up. If anyone dares to raise the price of salt, I will make them bankrupt. Leave the work in your hands to me. After throwing the salt, Zhang Xiaobao did not clean up and waited for others to come and do the work. Another quarter of an hour passed. A barbecue-flavored rice crust and a seafood-flavored rice crust were ready. The two walked to the courtyard of the younger brother and sister. Zhang Xiaobao was in charge of the tray. According to my method, we will kill all the male dogs sold there. See how they reproduce. After a few years, when the dogs are old, they will have to buy new ones. We will take back the old dogs and kill them for meat. The voice of the young man sounded when Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan stood under the window again. That's too cruel. The young man's voice followed. Shepherd dogs are not like cows and sheep. They usually help people do things and have sacrificed a lot. Like the dogs we raise at home, they usually pull sleds when it snows. Some have been trained to search and rescue, and some will risk their lives to protect their owners when they encounter danger. When they are old and can't work anymore, everyone will eat them. They are not like carnivorous dogs that are specially raised to eat. Let them spend their old age peacefully. Besides, dog meat is not delicious. Then don't eat them, Xiaobei said. Xiaoyuan added, old dogs are actually very useful. They are experienced and can communicate well with people. In some aspects, they can help the puppy learn faster. For example, an old dog can tell at a glance that a rat that has eaten rat medicine. If the old dog doesn't eat it, it won't let the puppy eat it. Just like the old people we support, they are all precious treasures. When Zhang Xiaobao heard this, he signaled to Wang Wan. Wang Wan walked over and knocked on the door. She shouted, "Open the door for brother and sister. Delicious food is here. It is better than dog meat." After a while, Xiaobei opened the door and pouted. "You still have to knock after eavesdropping." "I didn't eavesdrop." Wang Wan shook her head. "If you didn't eavesdrop, how would you know that we were talking about dog meat?" Xiaobei turned around and skipped 2 steps. "Speak of the devil. Did he hear you?" Zhang Xiaobao asked. Xiaobei was stunned and nodded. "I understand. As a diplomat, we should be shameless. Sometimes, even if we know that the other party is lying, we have to treat them as if they are telling the truth." "Then, what is more delicious than dog meat? How do you make dog meat that is delicious?" Zhang Xiaobao asked. "To be honest, no matter how you make it, it is not delicious. It is much worse than beef and mutton, especially cold ones. You have to add a lot of seasonings, and you can't dip it in soy sauce. The bean smell and the taste of dog meat is really bad. It is okay to eat it in a pot. You can also put soybeans in it, but the taste is better. It is better than beef and mutton." Xiaobei summarized. She had eaten it a few times, but she didn't want to eat it anymore. The guards in the house also didn't eat it. They said that it was good for the body, but beef and mutton were not easy to kill. The inner courtyard couldn't slaughter cows every day, so they usually ate mutton. Zhang Xiaobao grinned. "The supper we sent has something to do with the pot." "Pot? Seafood pot?" Xiaobei walked into the house. She turned around and twisted her head to ask. "Rice crust. Zhong Xiaobao answered. When Xiaobei heard this, she ran over and hugged her brother. She couldn't stop laughing and buried her head in her brother's chest. After a while, she looked up. Brother, I really admire you. The rice crust is related to the pot. I'm dying of laughter. It's the same as when you said that household appliances are flashlights, right? Then, do you want to eat it? Zhong Xiaobao asked while holding back his laughter. The little guys nodded at the same time. Yes. Zhong Xiaobao put the tray on the small table, opened the lid on it, and pointed to one of them. It's seafood flavored. It's sold at a low price. 1 copper coin per small plate. Xiaobei stretched out her hand and pulled it back instantly. It costs money. Of course, your brother can't work for nothing. Your brother is Xiao Bao, who is very awesome in the eyes of the people. Xiao Bao makes supper that costs 1 copper coin per plate. Is it expensive? Zhong Xiaobao pursed his lips and asked. Xiaobei shook her head. It's not expensive. It's so cheap. How much is this? She pointed to the plate next to the seafood-flavored rice crust. There's no fixed price for this. It has to be bid. It's an auction. Zhong Xiaobao said. He was also willing to play with his younger brothers and sisters. Xiao Yuan stood up and said, Brother, why don't you introduce us to the fried rice crust that's going to be auctioned? Okay, everyone, come and take a look. It's a product of a century-old shop. It has a traditional recipe, modern craftsmanship, meticulously made, and dedicated. The barbecue-flavored rice crust is officially unveiled today. The starting price is 5 copper coins, and each increment must not be less than 1 copper coin. Begin. Zhong Xiaobao spoke very passionately. 5 copper coins. Xiaobei raised her hand and reported the starting price. The other 8 little guys shook their heads one after another, looking as if this thing was not delicious. 5 copper coins, 5 copper coins going once. This most beautiful little princess has bid 5 copper coins. Everyone look, as expected of a woman who is not inferior to a man. This little princess has wisdom and courage as one. Is there anyone who wants to bid higher? 5 copper coins going twice. The barbecue-flavored rice crust is different from barbecued meat. Not only is it good for digestion, but it can also be used as a snack. It's a must-have item when going out, traveling, or killing people. Is there anyone who wants to increase the price? 5 copper coins going thrice. Sold. All right, no one wants to support me. If this continues, I'll lose money and won't get a single copper coin. Zhong Xiaobao looked very sad as he sighed and shook his head. The little guys laughed and rushed up one by one, picking up the 2 flavors of rice crust and putting it in their mouths to taste. Order, order, order. Zhong Xiaobao shouted like a qualified auctioneer. Brother, you are so funny. You are auctioning with us. How can we compete with each other? There's one left. What's that? Xiaobei chewed the rice crust in her mouth and pointed to the last plate. Zhong Xiaobao touched his sister's head and said, The last one is only for rent and not for sale. If you rent it and smell it, you have to bring it back to me. 1 copper coin per smell. You don't smell it with your mouth, but you still chew it. Oh, it's a high-quality rice crust. It's not the same price as 1 copper coin per serving. The 9 little guys suddenly stopped eating when they heard their brother's words. Wang Wan squatted down, kissed Xiaoqiang and Xiaonan, who were closest to her, and said, Why don't you eat? How's the high-quality rice crust compared to the shepherd dog's meat? Xiaobei looked up at her brother with misty eyes and buried her head in her brother's arms again. After a while she shouted, Brother, you are the best. We will let the dogs have a selection competition later. The bad ones will be sold directly, the medium ones will be auctioned, and the better ones will only be rented and not sold. Then eat, but don't eat too much. It's not good for the stomach. After all, the rice crust has shrunk. When it goes into the stomach, it is easy to get bloated. Zhong Xiaobao showed a caring smile and said. Xiao Yuan and the others also became relaxed. The problem was solved. First, they would hold a competition. When the dogs were strong and weak, even if they wanted to sell directly, the ranchers would have to compete. Consumers would actively seek price advantages in the case of differences in goods and thus obtain. Xiaobei ran out and asked for a few bottles of soda. She said that she was happy today and wanted to drink some. Zhang Xiaobao naturally did not refuse. At the same time, he praised his sister's good timing. Usually, carbonated drinks were not drunk casually. They usually drank pure fruit juice, but the little guys liked the feeling of carbonated drinks in their mouth. Brother, the seafood rice crust is a lie, right? I can see that it is cooked with dried rice. It is different, and the rice crust at the bottom of the pot is different. Even if you put in real shrimp powder and crab powder, the taste is much worse. Xiaobei ate a few seafood rice crusts that looked good and said to her brother, Xiaobao, look at how you have raised them. They haven't discovered any special skills, but their ability to taste food is getting better and better. Wang Wan glanced at Zhang Xiaobao and said. Zhang Xiaobao nodded to his sister. Only those who know how to eat understand life. Only those who know life know what others need and want in life, and thus manage. But the true meaning of eating is not to be able to tell the recipe immediately. It is to understand the details of other people's eating from the food you eat. Only when you know the suffering of the people can you find a way to turn bitterness into sweetness. Just like how your sister and I taught others to make cold jelly. Highland barley is not delicious. In the past, people in the Northwest ate it because it was convenient to grow it in the climate. At the same time, there was only one way to cook it, which was to fry and roast it. Then, even if wheat and rice were roasted and fried, the taste was not much better than Highland barley. Wheat was better ground into powder, and it could be used to make cakes. That was how shortbread came to be. Now that there is a pressure cooker, Highland barley is not delicious. What should we do? Through understanding the taste of Highland barley, we specially made cold jelly. Therefore, those who desire food first know the people, and the people regard food as heaven. The 9 little guys had stopped all their actions and listened to their brother. After Zhang Xiaobao finished speaking, the little guys looked at each other. Xiaobei said, Brother, we know. When we have time, we will taste all the food that others eat. Then we will take the raw materials and give them to our family to try to make a better taste. Then we will teach others. Let's not talk about anything else today. Let's eat. The rice crust is still very delicious. Zhang Xiaobao was very gratified. His younger brothers and sisters were sensible. He did not teach them in vain. Brother, I have a question. Xiaobei ate a few and said to her brother, Why is it that only a little bit of salt is the best? That barbecue taste is just a bluff. It's impossible to cover it up with the taste of cumin, pepper, and other seasonings. A bluff is a bluff. Zhang Xiaobao smiled and echoed, Yes, a bluff is a bluff. Normally speaking, I would not cover it up. I would purposely improve it. A bluff is also a kind of taste, but it would be too sharp to reflect a bluff. So I chose the part in the middle. You see, it looks simple with only a little bit of salt, but it takes the most effort. But in terms of appearance, it is the most ordinary, just like the people you see. Everyone seems to be doing things according to a law, and then there is prosperity. The market is noisy, the school is bright, and the children are laughing and shouting. As for me, the best rice crust I made for you is not actually the best, but I deliberately made it the best. In fact, I can still make the best seafood and barbecue-flavored raw materials. Those who know their food must consider the problems in the process of the process. Those who know their people are more difficult than those who know their food. So what should we do when we are at a loss? It's easy to handle. Prosperity is confusing, and the great Tao is simple. Those who stand with their hearts have no right or wrong. The 9 little fellows nodded again. Xiaobei was still in charge of speaking. Brother, if we had heard you say that a few days ago, we would not have cooperated with the livestock seller. If we cooperated, it would definitely put pressure on other people. Moreover, we contacted many people through Li Xiaojiang. Xiao Yuan, tell us what we are thinking now. Me again. Xiao Yuan did not know how many times he had said the same thing, but he had no choice but to stand up when he did not say it. Brother, we really did something wrong. Those who know their people should be guided first, and should not cooperate with others. Those who cooperate with others will seek our name. It is not in line with the law of the people, and it is not in line with those who compete with the people. Wang Wan continued, That's right. You found too many people to work with. This is not a bait. Instead, it's to make the businessmen worry about your name and your identity. As long as they hear that it's you, they won't consider whether it's suitable for their current economic situation. Thus, they won't compete with their own efforts. So now that you know, what are you going to do? Tear up the original promise? Announce another rule? Or simply let more people join in? Wait, let's discuss it. Xiao Bei pulled the others to a corner of the room and muttered. After a while, the little fellows came back. Xiao Bei said, We plan to use a point system. Counting from the time we arrived at Jianan Road, those who have contributed extra to the people's lives before that will gain points, while those who cooperate with us will have 0 points. From now on, the rules for those who have contributed extra money will change. In the end, it will be those who have contributed more than they have received. Let's see who is still willing to continue cooperating with us. Tomorrow morning's newspaper, we will take down the 3rd page and send a telegram now to coordinate with the publishing agencies in other places. We will ask them to remove the previous page and replace it with ours. Is that okay? There is no such thing as okay, only whether to do it or not. Go, but remember to eat less. I am leaving with your sister. Zhang Xiaobao patted Xiao Bei's head again and was kissed by his brothers and sisters. He turned around and took Wang Wan's hand to leave. Chapter 1265. The next morning, the sky was a little cloudy. Large pieces of dark clouds covered the sun, but because there was no morning glow, no one brought rain gear when they went out. Only the children were an exception. Ever since Xiao Bei and the rest liked to carry a treasure chest-like bag, the children had a lot of things in their school bags. The simplest thing was a light wooden board that fixed the front and back of the bag. When carried, it could correct the child's body to a certain extent. The bag straps were designed as a pull knot. Often, children would pull on other people's bag straps when they were playing. Some children wanted to tie a dead knot, and some were warned by the teacher again and again that it had to be a live knot. If they accidentally fell into the water, they had to pull open the live knot and hug the bag to increase their chances of survival. There was also a leather bag of water and a piece of compressed biscuit in the bag. Every month, when the first biscuit was given, the child could eat the first biscuit. Everything was to increase the child's survival rate in case of an accident. Of course, there was also a foldable umbrella. The children were very much looking forward to the sudden rain. They would hold the umbrella and watch others run in the rain. It was especially so today. Looking at the dark clouds in the sky, the children began to look forward to it as soon as they went out. After seeing a few children looking at the sky, Xiao Bei, who went out, also looked up and wondered, the weather is not bad. At least it will be cool before the dark clouds are blown away. What are they looking at? When it rains. Fortunately, there is an umbrella in the bag. If it was an inflatable rubber raft, wouldn't they be looking forward to a flood? It's best for the dog competition to be like today's weather. The dogs won't be very hot. Xiao Yuan had already seen a child take out an umbrella and draw a picture, but in the end, he put it back in disappointment. No, we have to choose a hot day and a rainy day to increase the difficulty of the competition. Then, we can choose a better dog and sell it at a higher price. We won't go back on our words, and we can make a lot of money. Xiao Bei's mind was filled with money. Without money, he could not speak firmly. He had a lot of money on hand, so he could do whatever he wanted. After saying that they could make a lot of money, Xiao Bei was once again in a difficult position. The best dog for rent. What if after they rent a dog, it matches with the ordinary dog they bought? We can't send people to watch. The cost is too high. It's troublesome, really troublesome. When Xiao Bei said this, the other 8 children also became silent. Until they met with Song Dakong, the 9 of them did not come up with any good ideas. Yesterday, we were discussing the matter of selling the dogs. Today, we have something to add. We need Boss Song to help us. Xiao Bei temporarily put aside the matter of preventing other people from matching up and said to Song Dakong. Song Dakong had been happy the whole night and was still in a state of excitement. He nodded vigorously. Don't worry, Xiao Bei. I will definitely clean up all the dogs and sell them the best dogs. If I buy a lot, it's not impossible to give them a discount. Xiao Bei was instantly defeated. He looked at Song Dakong and thought to himself, the truth is that we're selling the best dog to others and still have to give them a discount. After a few years, when other people's dogs grow up, we'll close down our business? Speaking of which, I still have to thank all of you for giving me a good reputation. I swear to the heavens that I will never do anything that's shoddy. At that time, I will let the people who buy the dog feel that it is worth it. Song Dakong raised his hand to the sky and swore. Boss Song, from the looks of it, we are getting more and more worried. We intend to choose a date, in the next few days, to hold a Tang dog competition. Our initial plan is to compete in 10 events. Today, we asked you to come together to consider which 10 events should it be. We will record the total score of each event and set the price. Boss Song, do you understand? Xiao Bei did not have the patience to persuade Song Dakong. He directly followed his own plan. Otherwise, if he really let Song Dakong do the business, he would be annoyed to death in the future. At the same time, he thought that it was fortunate that he and the others found Song Dakong. Otherwise, even if he got the loan, it would not take long for him to lose it. Such an honest person, if he chose the wrong industry, it would be better for him to keep raising cows and sheep. With his honest reputation, it would be better for him to develop in the future. Song Dakong was used to seeing Xiao Bei and the others as partners. In his heart, he did not think that they were young and immature. Perhaps they would make a wrong judgment, but he did not need to worry. The people behind them were very powerful. Now that he heard that there was going to be a dog competition, he thought about it. First, he thought about it, then he became excited. In the end, he clapped his hands and said, good idea. When we hold a competition, we will pull out a banner and let other businessmen invest money to advertise their dogs. During the competition, advertising will increase the income. Smart, Xiao Bei is really smart. Xiao Bei rubbed his face with his hands and said helplessly, you also don't know now. We are cooperating with you just to earn some advertising fees? We might as well sell dog food ourselves. No, shepherd dogs don't eat dog food, unless you have a pet dog. Shepherd dogs need to fight with wild carnivores at critical moments. Feeding dog food will spoil it. What we mean is, we will decide based on the dog's score. We will not sell the best dog but rent it out. We will auction the average dog and sell the worst dog. We will think of a good program to show the dog's ability. Now, we are only worried about one thing. How can we guard against others renting dogs for breeding? Song Dakong was stunned. Obviously, it was different from what he had thought. Xiao Yuan said impatiently, that is to say, if we sell too many good dogs, people will raise them themselves and not buy our dogs. Are we going to file for bankruptcy? We can't afford to lose that face. I know. It's simple. We will not rent the best dog. We will only keep the best dog for breeding and rent the less good ones. In fact, you don't understand. My dog farm is not about good dogs. It depends on how they are trained. Good dogs are like this. Give them a flock of sheep and give them a general location. They will go and raise the sheep themselves. Then, they will come back to eat meat. A meal of meat can last for many days. Outside, they will occasionally look for small animals to have a good meal. A really good dog is a head dog. It will choose a place with good water plants and organize other dogs to guard the sheep. It will guard against, drive away, and kill foreign carnivores. It is not that a puppy can go out to graze after it is born and raised. Song Dakong was very confident when it came to professional matters. He smiled and introduced them to the little guys. Xiao Bei's expression froze. I see. Isn't that so? Most of the people in the grassland raise their own dogs and cooperate with people. When it is really powerful, dogs are more useful than people, but few people know how to raise them. If you raise a good shepherd dog, you don't need to feed them very salty meat first so that they won't eat the livestock when they are grazing in the future. Instead, you tell them what they can eat and what they can't eat. Usually, they are fed beef, mutton, horse meat, and the like, including the offal in their stomachs. Just like what Xiao Bei said, they must be fed dog food. Without some courage, how can they fight the wolves? The number of dogs in a pack depends on the situation of the surrounding wolves. The overall number of dogs must surpass the wolf pack. If a big nest of more than 20 wolves is found, people have to bring more dogs to encircle and suppress first. Therefore, under normal circumstances, a dozen dogs will go out because wolves usually have less than 10. Most of the time, there are 5, 6, 7, or 8 dogs. The head dog and 2 other dogs will restrain the head wolf, and the other dogs will kill it with their advantage in numbers. What we don't want to encounter the most is wolves in winter. When they are hungry, the battle will be very fierce. Therefore, when winter comes, one reason is because there is not enough grass, most of it needs people to store it. Another reason is because it is cold outside, and the animals are not allowed to go too far. Once the snow thickens, they won't be able to eat the grass under the snow. Song Dakong was very willing to teach common sense to the little guys. Xiao Bei and the others were scared when they heard this. Xiao Bei calmed down and asked, "Then, when they fight, will the dogs run away if they can't win?" Song Dakong shook his head. "They won't run away in a fight to the death. I have personally participated in 2 fights with brothers I met on the grassland. At that time, the wolves were crazy with hunger. When they saw the people on horseback with knives and bows, they didn't run away. They just looked for opportunities to eat the sheep. They were very fast. The dogs fought with the wolves. We helped the dogs, but in the end, we drove the wolves away. Some of them died. Of course, more wolves died. None of the remaining ones were intact. They were all covered in blood. From then on, I wanted to raise dogs. People started to think that I wanted to fight dogs and invited me, but I never participated. My dogs are the best. I can't let them get hurt in the hands of my own people. What a poor dog. Uncle Song, don't worry. In the future, I will apply for a gun. When we encounter wolves biting dogs again, we will shoot them all down. Xiao Nan is very accurate with a gun. We have more dogs in our family. Most of them are sled dogs and rescue dogs. They are specially used to deal with situations where the road is blocked by snow. In fact, the investment is not proportional to the output. It costs a lot to raise dogs, but we can't do without them. If something happens and the road is blocked by snow, it will be over. Why don't we not sell dogs and raise them ourselves? Xiao Bei was moved by the dogs. He compared the dogs to his family's Shui Yun family. He felt that no matter how much money others offered, they should not sell them. Song Dakong said with a smile, "We still have to sell them. If others buy them, they will help others. The dogs I'm talking about are not ordinary dogs. They have to be specially trained. Otherwise, dogs will be very afraid of wolves. I've decided. In the future, if there is a ranch, 50 dogs will form a team and be sent out to patrol. The eagles will follow them. When they encounter bad guys, they will bite them together. If the opponent is too strong, they will defend first and let the eagles come back to report. The people will go with submachine guns." Xiao Bei was thinking about the beautiful things in the future. It was like his family. They would unite and deal with whoever they caught. At this time, Song Dakong felt that Xiao Bei and the others were really children. Their thinking was too simple, but it was not good to directly attack them. He nodded and said, "Now let's start to discuss the 10 points. When there is a chance in the future, you will really go to the ranch and see what the actual situation is like." Xiao Bei and the other 9 people went to discuss the shepherd dog competition with others. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were still at home dealing with the telegram sent back. As previously arranged, the 3 lines of attack had been steadily advancing. However, the duo men were not willing to admit defeat. The fanaticism of religion was revealed at this moment. Clearly, the weapons were too inferior and they could not win, but they were always looking for opportunities. For example, they would go in a big circle and ride horses to destroy the logistics line. Another example was to find some hay and branches, look at the direction of the wind, light a smoke, and use the smoke to launch a charge. If it were the generals of the Tang Empire in the past, they might have a chance to succeed. However, after the battle with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan in the sand table, many generals did not make the same mistake. The duo men looked at the direction of the wind, and so did they. They were all scared. The smoke was too disgusting. Every time the duo men made a move, the Tang Empire army would be prepared first. Everyone carried a wet towel at all times. Once the wind blew, they would turn around and run. As they ran, they would turn back and shoot. They would not defend at all. The logistics were not worried about being suddenly attacked. They had firearms. When they were attacked by the enemy, they would take turns to rest. At the same time, they would occasionally fire to make the enemy unable to rest completely. When the vanguard reached a certain depth, they would retreat and then push horizontally. When the enemy was riding on horseback, they would not chase and would only wander there. The purpose was to attract the duo men to send more troops over. Zhang Xiaobao calculated how much ammunition he had to invest in and asked Wang Wan about the situation on the other side. If we fight this war, we won't be able to achieve anything this winter. Where is our landing fleet? Wang Wan was looking at the military map. She would occasionally draw lines with her hand and shake her head to reject this strategic arrangement. When she heard Zhang Xiaobao's question, Wang Wan frowned. You are asking me? The information we got is the same. The fleet has gone out, and it is very inconvenient to communicate. There are no satellites, so everything depends on the commander. The Meteor Battle Squad probably hasn't caught up to them yet. It's still a long way to go. If Zhen La is honest enough, we can directly rush over with our guards. We'll have an extra attack team and catch the man-eating army off guard. Then let's wait. It just so happens that the domestic situation has not reached what I expected. Zhang Xiaobao felt that time was passing too slowly. Many things needed to be accumulated over time to ferment. Moreover, in the process of war, the consumption of domestic resources was not small. If they could not plunder enough resources from other places to replenish the domestic resources as soon as possible, in a few months, new problems would appear. It could not help but be vexed. However, the current situation was beneficial to the Tang Empire. They could withdraw a front line of military forces at any time and switch from offense to defense to continue to restrain the duo men. Wang Wan also knew why Zhang Xiaobao was so anxious. She comforted him. Don't worry, everything will be fine. The domestic resources are only affected by the smelting. There are no other problems. Usually, the soldiers also eat food. The food that the animals in charge of transportation eat is not a problem. We now have more food than we can use up. Yes, we can't use it up in a short time, but it hasn't reached the point where we can store 9 years of food. Even Xiaobei and the rest are so scared that they have started to stop selling cakes. Zhang Xiaobao actually wanted to tell his younger brothers and sisters to continue selling cakes. The country had enough food. However, after thinking about it, it was better to let the little guys experience the tense domestic situation. If things went too smoothly, it would be harmful to their future development. If the little guys could think of other ways to reverse the situation, it would be better. Wang Wan looked at the map again and sneered. She analyzed to Zhang Xiaobao. Since the duo men are a religious country, they have been fighting all the time. Now, they are fighting the elites of the duo men. They have deep beliefs and strong bodies. When the winter comes, many of their elites will die. At the same time, when the fleet starts to land and fight, they have no elite soldiers to send out. They can only play a game of scorched earth. You can play to your advantage and use various means to weaken their internal unity. I will send a message and see if I can contact the Meteor Squad. Then, I will see if the people in our canned food plan can paralyze the enemy and set a time to rescue the hostages. Chapter 1266. The universe was operating according to a certain set of rules, and the earth was moving. The people living in Great Tang were still living for their own ideals and habits. Everyone in Great Tang knew that the war was ongoing, and they could see the situation on the front lines every day through the newspapers. The country's army didn't drive straight in, and they only tried their best to occupy the resources of the other countries by the river. Then, it was the grasslands, snowy mountains, forests, swamps, and deserts. The country's army had always been at strategic points, and with advanced weapons, they advanced very slowly. It could even be said that every step was taken with caution. Such a result might seem unsatisfactory, but what was satisfying was that the number of casualties on the battlefield was very small, and the natural environment was filled with danger. For example, someone in the desert got heat stroke, someone was bitten by a snake in the grasslands, poisonous fog in the forests, and the snowy mountains were extremely cold. As for the casualties in battle, it was said that when disassembling the guns, they squeezed out bloody blisters from their hands. When throwing grenades, they were told to use grenade launchers, but some soldiers didn't listen and threw their arms out. Not only did they strain their arms, but when the grenade was thrown too close, the shrapnel that flew out cut a piece of their scalp, making it easy for them to get infected. The commoners couldn't help but curse in the taverns and tea houses. They scolded the design of the guns, the soldiers who joined the army for not training properly, and some even scolded the commanders for not bringing the cannons to the snowy mountains and firing down. That way, they could have fired further. In a situation where there were casualties, there were always a few people who were sad. When a family member died, they could only sigh about their bad luck, but they didn't complain about the country. In a short period of time, they had the comfort of their neighbors and large amounts of money from the government, but the pain in their hearts would take time to heal. During the morning court session, Li Longji would always read out the names of the new casualties. Sometimes, it would be 20 to 30, and sometimes, it would be 4 to 5. There had never been a case of 0 casualties. How did this happen? There are people dying every day. Didn't they say that with advanced weapons, there should be no casualties? Li Longji had read out 15 names during the morning court session. 6 of them had died from illness, 2 had fallen to their deaths, 1 had been bitten by a snake 4 days ago, 2 had died from a heart attack when they swam across the river. 1 had seen a bear at night and chased after it, only to be swatted to death by the bear. The remaining 3 had died in battle. After the cannon fire, they had chased after it, but when the horses had gone crazy, they had died under the hooves of the horses, which counted as battle deaths. 15 people represented a member of each of the 15 families. Thus, Li Longji appeared to be very sad. Don't look at the number. 15 people isn't a lot. If it were your family, who would you say should die? All the ministers fell silent. They had really treated the deaths as a number, like money. However, when it came to themselves, it was too sad to lose a family member for no reason. Your Majesty, I think that the speed of our army's advance is still too fast. We should slow it down and strengthen our self-protection training. From the intelligence, we can see that our people are dying unjustly. It's better to die under the enemy's weapons than to die like this. Jiang Tsen from the Western Agriculture Temple felt that the problem was due to the lack of training. The geographical environment was too bad, and there shouldn't be too many casualties. The Minister of War, Xiao Song, snorted coldly. He stood up and said, "If we were to die under the enemy's swords, spears, bows, and arrows, I reckon Minister Zhong Zhong would be condemned. It is because of the weapons that we are in danger. Actually, we are military officers." When everyone heard this, they felt that it made sense. In a head-on confrontation, the cannons opened the path, the cannons provided cover, and the guns killed the enemy. Advancing so slowly and allowing the enemy to succeed in a melee battle, the Ministry of Works and the Ministry of War would be dealt with. If it were up to me, we shouldn't have started a war. If we didn't go over, how could anyone die? Great Tang is doing well now, so why are we attacking others? Wang Bei spoke up again. He had no regrets. He had just solved part of the investment and return problem, and now he was thinking of ways to make trouble for the Zhang family and Wang family. Li Longji didn't pay attention to Wang Bei. If a country didn't fight after becoming strong, it would be over soon. The prerequisite for peace was that others accepted the rule and submitted. Otherwise, one shouldn't have any interaction with others, especially in terms of trade. As long as there was interaction, there would be conflicts. At that time, should one protect the interests of one's own people? Even neighbors would occasionally fight, not to mention between countries. Seeing that no one responded to Wang Bei's words, the Minister of War said, "Minister Wang, are you afraid that the National Treasury won't be able to support you because you've spent too much money?" Too much. According to Wang Wan's strategy, every inch of land is worth money. The money in the National Treasury is flowing out like water. In a few more months, the National Treasury will be empty. Wang Bei said with a gloomy face. In the end, no one supported his words. The civil and military officials were not fools. They could roughly estimate how much money the country currently had. The money spent was spent on weapons and transportation. However, transportation was not directly shipped to the other side. It was carried over from the other side. These things were already being shipped to various parts of the Great Tang, but they weren't sold or processed. Moreover, in this process, many things that couldn't be sold in the past were used up. For example, with the new technology of silkworm breeding and the large amount of cotton from Xinlua, who would take a few feet of coarse linen home to make clothes. Those things were all used to make gunny sacks. Because of the transportation of war, the demand for gunny sacks increased, and a lot of hemp rope that was originally going to rot was used up. Wasn't that money? Also, in the course of the war, the roads were easier to travel on. Everyone was helping to repair the roads. In the future, when the Ministry of Works under Zhang Zhong produced more asphalt, they could repair even better roads. Moreover, they had a foundation. This part of the long-term income wasn't counted in the Ministry of Revenue. There were even more things that were overstocked. Now, the demand was very good. For example, 4 years of grain. Other than wine, who would be willing to buy it back home? Seeing that no one was supporting him, Wang Ke felt very lonely. He planned to continue complaining about the expenditure of money and the emptiness of the national treasury. However, Prime Minister Yu Wanrong stepped forward. "Minister Wang, I hope that you can consider the big picture and not always think about some small personal matters. If Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are as narrow-minded as you, I believe you know the consequences. I have offended them in the past. Cuckoo didn't use weapons against the country, and Xiao Bao kept retreating. Not to mention being a person, just to protect yourself, you have gone a little too far. Do you really want to force the two of them to turn back? Are you sure you can hold on even if we don't help you?" Yu Wanrong said a part of his opinion. His eyes swept over the others. They didn't avoid his gaze and nodded. Yuan Qianyao chuckled and said, "Xiao Bao has never been internal. When they were young, we knew that we would always leave some leeway. Therefore, please don't treat their tolerance as weakness. Japan and Xinlua are crying rivers of war. Without using weapons, 10 years have passed in the blink of an eye. What I want to say is that the heavens are watching. Whoever has the ability to deal with them, stand on Vermilion Bird Avenue and shout. If they can survive, I will support them. Their lives are tough." Wang Ke retreated. Not only did the court officials object, but he was also afraid that the news of the morning court would spread. Not to mention shouting on Vermilion Bird Avenue, as long as the people in the capital knew, his family would probably not have a day of peace. Li Longji quickly mediated, "Let's not talk about this. Minister Wang, you don't have to worry. I know Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. They definitely won't do anything directly. At most they will earn less money. They won't let the investors lose money. Xiao Bao controlled it very well." Speaking of serious matters, before today's court session started, the news that came back said that 15 people had died. Those who were injured were not included. Actually, Li Longji seemed to be in a dilemma. In the end, he gritted his teeth and said, "Actually, It's not that we haven't fought in wars before, and more people died. However, no one cared. Now that we've been influenced by Xiao Bao and Cuckoo, we've been influenced. Everyone values human lives more, and I'm very gratified. Actually, even if we don't fight, do you think that our great Tang doesn't have many people dying every day due to accidents? Right now, there are more than 300,000 soldiers on the front lines. If we disband them and let them return to their normal lives, can you guarantee that they can live well every day? Not a single one of them will die. Everyone shook their heads. It was 300,000 soldiers. How could they all live unscathed? There were all kinds of accidents that could cause deaths. Thinking of accidents, Yu Wanrong spoke up once more, pointing at Zhang Zhong. Minister Zhang, I would like to ask, why isn't the medical academy working yet? There are always people who can't be treated and die. Every time one of them dies, we're heartbroken. Bullshit. Zhang Zhong changed his previous amiable attitude and scolded. Do you think the medical academy is a godly academy? Don't you know what it was like in the past? Don't you know what it's like now? Don't I want them to research better medicine and improve treatment methods? Don't I feel sad seeing others die of illness? Calm down, Minister Zhang is still a good person, Li Longji consoled. Calm down what? The speed of medical development is there for all to see, so what if you can't see it? Not to mention other things, in the past, when you gave birth to a child, you felt like dying or prayed to Buddha. Now, which family wants to give birth to a child? Why don't you let them die so easily? If they can't give birth, they'll just perform an operation. What's the big deal? I know that a relative of Prime Minister Yu's concubine died of tuberculosis. She's your cousin, your childhood sweetheart. Who wouldn't feel sad seeing her vomiting blood? But there's no medicine. You only know how to talk about me. Don't you know that after I told the news to my families Xiao Bao and Cuckoo, they ordered the medical academy to attack something they call Remifeng? At this moment, Zhang Zhong didn't even give Li Longji any face as he questioned Yu Wanrong. Yu Wanrong's mouth twitched, but he didn't say anything. One was sad, and the other was scared. Honest people can be very fierce when they get angry. Li Longji couldn't possibly blame Zhang Zhong for taking the blame for himself. He knew Zhang Zhong very well. He was a loyal and patriotic person. Not to mention punishing him, even a scolding would have unimaginable consequences. Without him, who would be able to suppress Xiao Bao and Cuckoo? If he scolded him, what would his son and daughter-in-law think? Gao Lisher stood up at the crucial moment and asked, Brother Yongqing, can this Remifeng cure tuberculosis? Xiao Bao didn't tell me. Yes. Zhang Zhong replied, Xiao Bao and Cuckoo said that tuberculosis is nothing. It's just that the current technology can't keep up. In the past, there were many people who died from smallpox, but look at who died from smallpox now. Also, there were many worms in children's stomachs in the past as well. Now, we can just go to Xiao Bei and the others' precious candy house to get them. Everyone, give us some time. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are already in a difficult situation. Assistant Minister Jiang, how is the planting of the Chinese medicine? Especially the topical antidote and oral medicine. Zhang Zhong nodded at Gao Lisher, meaning that he didn't want to explain too much to him. Go ask your godson yourself. He turned around and asked Jiang Xian. Jiang quickly replied, everything is being planted. Also, your family has provided the information for the ginseng. The planting area isn't small, and when the time comes, we will handle it according to the needs. Brother Zhang, don't worry. Xiao Bao has already said that the ginseng looks like a carrot, but that's because our technology isn't there yet. Otherwise, we can make a comparison. The most direct method is to eat ginseng and carrots. Your family has already planted 2 seasons of ginseng. Some are 5, 6 years old, and some are 8 years old. According to the age of the ginseng, if a normal person eats a gene of carrots, nothing will happen to them. Try to eat a gene of 5 years old ginseng and see if they will die. We've done experiments before. Normally, a strong man would eat half a gene of ginseng and have a nosebleed. If you cook it with other ingredients, there won't be much of a problem. Remember not to use people from the Great Tang for experiments. Nowadays, the medical academy is raising rats and monkeys in large numbers. Although all things have spirits, the spirits of all things are not humans. When a snake swallows a frog, the snake doesn't think of the frog's spirit. When a tiger eats a rabbit, the tiger doesn't pity the rabbit. Since the weak are prey to the strong, in order to live well, we still have to do what needs to be done. Zhang Zhong was very satisfied with Jiang Tsun's answer and said more things. The officials were indifferent. They didn't care whether other animals and people died or not. If it were in the past, it wouldn't be a big deal to kill one's opponent. If it were a dozen years ago, it would be too easy to persecute a person to death through political means. But now, it couldn't be done, because His Majesty's strategy had changed. His Majesty was no longer looking for balance, but to unify the thinking. Why? Because, damn it, if others wanted to unite against His Majesty, they first had to consider Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. If the two of them stood on His Majesty's side, no matter what they did, it would be useless. Could it be that they were going to mobilize the troops? If Cuckoo didn't show up, there might be a possibility that she could command the military forces in other places to rebel. If Cuckoo showed up, she would do whatever she said. Incite the merchants to raise prices and cause unrest in the country? The merchants first had to consider Xiao Bao's mood. Once he raised his voice, not to mention the merchants, even boiling oil would instantly cool down. As for the common people, just look at the grandeur of people before they got married and the appearance of younger brothers and sisters when they were born. The whole Tang Empire was in jubilation, with colorful flags flying and firecrackers rumbling. With them around, they, including the forces behind them, couldn't expect to force His Majesty to give in. Your subject requests a report. Pei Yaoqing stepped out. The current military training system must be checked and strict to prevent additional casualties in future wars. Approved. Li Longji didn't want to delay other issues because of the death of a few people, so he directly passed this topic to His Majesty. At the same time, he ordered, "Ask Xiao Bao and Cuckoo, when will the preliminary results be out?" Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were still in Yizhou, with no intention of making a move. The main reason was that Yizhou's location was too crucial. On one hand, they could manage the battle lines, and on the other, they could reinforce the military operations against Zhenla in time. If Zhenla didn't make a move and Lu Xing didn't send back any news, they couldn't leave. Therefore, the two's impression of Zhenla was getting worse and worse. Zhang Xiaobao was gnashing his teeth in hatred. "I've decided. No one can stop me. After this period is over, I'll send all of Zhenla's people to the north of Hebei province to dig coal for me. However, I have to leave the amber and coal essence there. The natural environment there is different from where they live. They won't go. Are you trying to catch them?" Wang Wan was also disgusted with Zhenla, but she hoped that Zhang Xiaobao would use other means to deal with it. Zhang Xiaobao smiled. "Not going. That's because the temptation isn't enough. Do you think it's you or me? When faced with other temptations, they think of their own integrity. I don't believe that they won't be tempted if I give them a high price. For example, 3 times the income of our Tang Empire's miners." Wang Wan was stunned. She looked at Zhang Xiaobao in confusion. After thinking about it, she was even more puzzled. "If you do this, what will happen to the Tang Empire's people?" "What does it have to do with the Tang Empire's people? You said it yourself. They are in the southwest and can't adapt to the northeast environment of our country. One is the weather, the other is the diet. Not adapting to the environment means that the flora in their body is different. Different flora makes it easy for them to get sick. So what if I give them 3 times the income? Their medical treatment isn't free. The possibility of them falling sick is very high. When the time comes, I'll use the medical fees to get back the money they earn. If they're sick, do they want to see a doctor? If they don't, then they can just wait for death. They won't get a single copper coin. If they do, then they can pay. If I charge the Tang Empire's people for medical treatment now, how much do you think our imperial court's revenue will increase? The price of the pharmaceutical factory is low, but they have to pay taxes, right? Middlemen selling medicine have to pay taxes, right? When the hospital director is bribed by others, he has to spend money. When he sets the price for the patients, he has to pay taxes, right? All in the process of cost and sales, most of the burden is given to the patients. However, the people who benefit from the various middlemen's spending is also part of the GDP. Zhang Xiaobao said with a cold smile. After saying this, he realized a problem. Times were different now. It seemed that he didn't need to do this. Thus, he smiled embarrassedly and said, "What I want to say is actually the instinctive pursuit of survival. I give them a chance to make money, but I don't give them any benefits. Then, I will complete my revenge plan." After hearing Zhang Xiaobao's words, Wang Wan was not in a good mood. She pursed her lips and thought about it. Then, she said to Zhang Xiaobao, "Xiaobao, as long as we are alive, you have to promise me that you will never charge for medical treatment and education. That is the foundation of a nation's strength and survival." "I know. A country is actually a family. In the past, politics was actually a family world. In the beginning, it was the other people in the tribe who supported you. They thought that you could lead them to a better life, so you were the chief, the leader of the tribe. Now, it is still the same. The people are your children. They support you to be the emperor because they are waiting for you to bring them a better life. If you forget, or even think that you are in charge of some people who have weapons and start to eat the flesh of your children, I don't know if you are still a person, but at least your children will overthrow you one day. Don't think that you can do it just because you have weapons. In the past, weapons were used to feed your children and treat their prey. When you turn your weapons to your children one day, you will eventually die. How many dynasties have proven this?" Zhang Xiaobao said. Wang Wan echoed, "Yes, so don't think that you are very powerful just because you have ruled for a few decades or 100 years. In fact, many dynasties have ruled for a long time, but in the end, the people had no way to make a living. The officials forced the people to rebel. Moreover, it was easier for them to lose their political power as time went on. Because everyone has the knowledge, it is not difficult to build a nuclear weapon. A high school student, or even a junior high school student, as long as they are talented enough and work hard, they can definitely build a small nuclear bomb after a few years of learning. Once the people are forced to this extent, if 10,000 people build 1,000 small nuclear bombs, what do you think the consequences will be once they are detonated? So let's work hard and try not to cause too much polarization. Sometimes, we really don't know what to pursue in life." Zhang Xiaobao said as he looked down from the window and saw a few officials of the Izhou prefecture holding up a sign. Wang Wan also saw them. Those officials usually did not come out so casually. Now that they came out, they would not be recognized by her and Xiaobao. "You are not working in the yamen, but standing below the Blue Sea Silver Sand restaurant and holding up a sign. Is this the greatest reflection of your social value? If this is the case, you might as well keep holding up signs and not be an official." Many people did not know. When they saw the officials standing there holding signs, they felt that the officials were very nice and considerate. Those who were illiterate asked someone about the contents of the sign. It said that starting today, there would be doctors at both the Blue Sea Silver Sand restaurant and the Sea Cloud restaurant in Izhou. Every one of the people thought that the officials were really nice. In fact, they did not know that if the value of the officials was only reflected in this aspect, then the imperial court's control arrangement was a failure. Who did the local officials hold up signs for? If it was for the people, then why didn't they usually do it? Why did they have to wait for a higher official to do it? Xiaobei and the others, who had finished talking about the 10-dog competitions, happened to see this scene. They glanced upstairs and all of them had ugly expressions. "I am so disgusted. You said you didn't do anything wrong, so why are you here? Waiting for us to investigate you? Why are all the doctors here today? It's different from before. Didn't you go to the local medical hall when you went to a place?" Xiaobei stared at the official holding the sign and said. She was angry mainly because she had already investigated when she came, and there was no problem with the local officials. Now that they were standing downstairs and advertising, it did not seem to be a problem. But in fact, It was a show for her brother and sister. Why are you not working? Xiao Yuan also frowned. After thinking, she said to Xiao Bei, "In the past, when we stayed in a place for a short time, we had to go to the local medical hall mainly to collect information about the local diseases. Now that we have to stay for a long time, our family's doctors have already gone to the medical hall to collect information. It's not good to hide at home and not show up, wasting resources. Let's go and find a nearby place to take a look." Xiao Bei stared at the official holding the sign again. "Can't you just stand there? Why do you have to hold it up?" The people were already lining up. It was not that they were sick and looked down on them, but that they felt that they were sick. However, when they arrived at the medical hall, they did not find out. "Why are you squeezing here, child?" Xiao Bei came to the side of the line and said to a boy standing there who was about 2 years older than her. "Recently, I've been sleepy in class. The teacher, me, and my parents all feel that I'm sick. The doctor at the medical hall said that I'm not sick, but I didn't believe him, so I came to take a look." "Who are you? Why are you asking me?" After the boy answered, he realized that he had talked too much to other people, especially girls who were younger than him. He was very unhappy. Perhaps he would only understand when he grew up. If a girl took the initiative to talk to him, he should seize the opportunity. Xiao Bei was puzzled. Seeing that the boy was unhappy, she was also angry. "Look at who I am. Look carefully. There are 9 of us. Do you know? I'm Xiao Bei. You are not in class, but you came out to see a doctor. How long have you been sick?" "Xiao Bei? Ah, really? 9. No wonder you look so fun. I've been sick for a few months. I'm sick. You can't catch me. I'm a patient." The boy looked seriously and counted the number of people. He was a little afraid and a little stubborn. Xiao Bei was about to say something when Xiao Hai pulled her behind him. He stood in front and said to the doctor who was treating others, "Let him see the next one." There were many doctors below the restaurant. Not only here, but there were also doctors in the Hai Yun restaurant in the other direction. They were all doctors from the Zhang family and Wang family. They usually went to the local medical hall to understand the situation first. Now that they understood, they were sent out to treat others because it was a waste of resources to stay at home. The doctors in the medical hall were naturally much worse than them. The commoners also knew that the Dei Medical School was opened by the Zhang family and Wang family. The first batch of doctors was also provided by them. It was obvious how good the doctors who could follow Xiao Bao, Cuckoo, and Xiao Bei were. However, the commoners wouldn't scold them. They would say that the Zhang family and Wang family pulled good doctors to their side. In the eyes of the commoners, this was very right. If the doctors were bad, what would Xiao Bao and the others do when they fell sick? Then, how good were the doctors now? The little boy went up and tried to find out. The doctor first listened and didn't find any problems. He took the boy's pulse and felt it. He asked, "You sleep very late every night, right? And you're picky about your food." "Doctor, no. My child sleeps very early," the woman who came with the boy said anxiously. "He sleeps early, but he might not sleep." "What games have you been playing recently?" the doctor asked again. "Big. Monopoly." The boy was frightened. The doctor was so right. Xiao Bei slapped her forehead. "I'll ban Monopoly tomorrow." "I know. He played it during the day and always thinks about it when he sleeps at night. Maybe he also thinks about it during class. He's also picky about his food. He doesn't have enough nutrition, so of course he's sleepy." "No, Monopoly is very fun. It looks like it depends on luck, but it's actually calculated." The boy was even more afraid this time. If Xiao Bei said to ban a game, no one would dare to play it. "Doctor, please think of a way." The boy's mother first looked at Xiao Bei and the others gently, then asked the doctor anxiously. The doctor who was treating the boy, Wei Wei, looked at Xiao Bei and the others. She sighed and said helplessly, "I really can't do anything. If only they were like my little ancestors. They would listen to everything I say, and all of them are obedient and sensible. Your child. I can't prescribe Chinese medicine. I can only prescribe prescriptions for strengthening the spleen, regulating the qi, moistening the lungs, clearing the intestines, and regulating the stomach. The key is picky about his food. Xiaobei squeezed out from behind her brother and said. After the doctor nodded, she said, "It's okay. It'll be solved soon. The problem now is that he's always thinking about games." "Games are easy to deal with," Xiaobei said. "From today onwards, we'll invite him to play Monopoly at home every day. There's no need to go to class. We'll take turns playing with him. We'll play for 10 days first and see the results." Chapter 1267. The picky boy who liked to play games was brought in by Xiaobei. Not only was the boy's mother not worried, she even told her son to play with Xiaobei and the rest. She would apply for leave from school. The people in the queue were envious, but they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't call their own children over and push them to Xiaobei and the rest. If they encountered a small matter, they would solve it, but it wasn't a small matter that they could find themselves. It was fate. The people in the queue turned their attention to the doctors sitting in a row. These were the best doctors in Tang Dynasty. They wanted to take this opportunity to let them take a look at their illnesses. If they were sick, they would be treated. If they weren't, they would be at ease. The queue was very orderly. Some elderly people would even be given small stools to sit on. No one dared to interrupt, and no one dared to make a ruckus. When the doctors who came out with the main family saw their patients, they really encountered many difficult and complicated illnesses. It was also a test for them, but the results were not satisfactory. "Auntie, don't worry. Your illness is a small matter. You will be fine as long as you go home and rest well," a doctor said to the old lady sitting in front of him with a smile on his face. "I just have a stomachache. It's good that you are fine." The old lady was relieved. She said to her son, "See, I told you that you are fine. You are always afraid." "Yes, Auntie is fine. However, I have a prescription for food therapy here. It can make Auntie feel more comfortable. There are a few things to pay attention to. Young man, come with me. I will tell you," the doctor said to the old lady's son. He then turned and instructed the person beside him, "Bring 2 eggplants. It has something to do with eggplants." The young man was led inside by the doctor. Just as he was about to listen to the prescription, the doctor stopped smiling, bit his lip, and said to the young man, "You have 3 months at most. Prepare for your funeral." "Ah, doctor, my mother, that can't be, right?" "How can there be 3 months left? My mother is fine." "She is fine. Doctor, you..." Woo-woo. The young man didn't expect to hear such a result. He didn't want to believe it at all. He stared at the doctor who was treating his mother, covered his face with both hands, squatted on the ground, and cried bitterly. The doctor also had a sad expression on his face. Every time he treated someone, he was afraid that he would encounter an illness that he could not treat. However, almost every time he went out with the main family and took the time to diagnose people, he would encounter such a situation. Blame me for being useless. Everyone calls me a divine doctor, but I'm not a divine doctor. Life after life is gone just like that. Why? The doctor's eyes reddened as he looked up and sighed. The young man cried again, stood up, wiped his tears, bowed to the doctor and said, "Thank you, I will take good care of my mother. These 2 days, I will cook her favorite food." "Do it. I'll register your mother's illness and send her to the clinic. During this period of time, there will be people sending you money. It's money that should be paid for by the court if you stay in the clinic. You don't want to stay, so I'll give it to you. Maybe, there's still some hope. Tonight, I'll discuss with others to see if we can use the method of fighting poison with poison to kill those things in your mother's body." The doctor talked about the subsidies again. At the same time, he also considered that since she could not live anymore, it was better for everyone to take a look at her. Even if she became an experimental subject in the end, They could use all kinds of drugs that were estimated to be effective. When the young man heard this, he was stunned. Then, he nodded. He understood what was going on. People with incurable diseases were observed and tried to use drugs. Occasionally, doctors from medical schools would come over. At the same time, after they died, some people would be cut by the doctor with a knife. Of course, a certain amount of compensation would be given to the family. After the cut, they would be buried. The purpose was to train new doctors, and at the same time, to increase the research experience of the previous doctors to prepare for future generations. In the beginning, some people did not agree. However, after some persuasion, they said that if they did not agree now, their descendants would die of the same disease. Didn't they want their descendants to live better lives? In this way, everyone agreed. Moreover, no one scolded the doctor and said that his medical skills were not good. This was because the medical conditions now were many times better than before. Not only did they not need to spend money, but many diseases could be treated, especially when it came to giving birth. Very, very few people died, unlike in the past. The young man thought about it and said to the doctor, "Please, I know that some people have already said that they can't, but after you try to use drugs and adjust, they miraculously survived and recovered. You are all good people." The doctor shook his head. "Don't praise me. I feel guilty. I don't deserve a word of praise from you. When all the patients have been treated, I will be able to laugh at the heavens." "Do you need blood?" the young man asked again. "No, your mother's disease has nothing to do with blood," the doctor replied. "I'm asking if the nearest blood bank is short of blood." "I can donate it," the young man explained. The doctor thought about it and stopped him. "Not now. Someone else will donate it. You have to maintain your energy and take care of your mother." The young man bowed again and washed his face with the doctor. He put a hot towel on his eyes. When he felt that no one would see anything, he walked out with 2 eggplants in his hand. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan watched from upstairs. When they saw the doctor get up and leave, they knew what was going on. Another one. Life is so fragile. Miracles don't always happen around us. When will medicine be able to solve all the diseases? Zhang Xiaobao felt sad for the other person. He often fantasized that everyone could live forever without any disease. Even if there was an accident, there was a way to make people recover. Wang Wan snuggled up to Zhang Xiaobao and explained, "From now on, we will study it. I believe that after 1,000 years, we can definitely reach the level you want. The main thing is that we don't have the drugs and equipment now. We should raise a large number of mushroom fishes. Then, like raising ginseng, we should try to raise them as wild as possible. In the future, when we have the equipment to kill cells, we can use them together." Zhang Xiaobao nodded gently. He knew what the mushroom fishes were. Wild mushroom fishes could increase the number of red blood cells. In fact, his family had been raising them. It was said before that this thing was very useful in treating diseases, especially in the equipment to kill cells. While killing cells, it could ensure the number of red blood cells in the body. As for the equipment, it was naturally the radiation equipment. We also need to strengthen the systematization of Chinese medicine. In the past, people were holding back when they were teaching their disciples. Moreover, there were few experimental subjects. In the end, as long as one generation was cut off, all the hard work would be wasted. Chinese medicine has always been very useful. In fact, I was able to live because of Chinese medicine. Western medicine can't do anything about it. The time I was cut off was 6 months. In the end, I lived for another year and 2 months. This shows that Chinese medicine and Western medicine can complement each other. Moreover, many Western medicine theories are actually based on Chinese medicine. For example, antibiotics are fighting poison with poison. If anyone says that it is not poisonous, try injecting 2 injections when you are allergic to penicillin. It's just that Chinese medicine at that time did not form a better systematization. In the end, it was surpassed by others because of technology. It was mainly in the field of surgery. In the end, when we got diseases that Western medicine could not treat, we chose Chinese medicine. The last choice, Is there a cure? There is, right? Of course, more people died. But what does it matter if Chinese medicine is not good? Zhang Xiaobao felt wronged for Chinese medicine. He always felt that it was because the standards of the people who learned it were not good enough. Western medicine was very fast and could be done in a few years. What about Chinese medicine? How many years? How long would it take to get the medicine? The year of the medicine, the dosage, and because there was no technological equipment to follow when it was passed down, it relied on people. How difficult would it be to treat the illness? Not everyone can learn it. Wang Wan's eyes were still looking at the crowd below. She said to Zhang Xiaobao, I have never opposed Chinese medicine. In fact, you also know that people of our status, once we are sick, we will first see Chinese medicine, then use the equipment. After that, we will use a combination of Chinese and Western medicine for treatment. We are not rejecting any side. In fact, the truth is that the change of dynasties and the impact of Western culture caused the decline of Chinese medicine. The simplest cold is a cold. At that time, we could take some Western medicine, drink a bowl of Chinese medicine, and even some Chinese medicine that was not very good. Moreover, the patches in Western medicine were developed based on Chinese medicine's plasters and methods of external application. Of course, they would not admit it. Steaming therapy and the like was not available in Western medicine. When it was available, they would say that it was their own work. Such people should be killed. It's just a treatment. Use whatever method is useful. Why do we have to be so clear? In my eyes, there is no difference between Western and Western medicine. There are only differences in national strength. For example, the shameless Korean medicine is still Chinese medicine. But if we talk about our Chinese medicine, there are many critics in the world. If we talk about Korea's Korean medicine, don't Europeans and Americans like to go to see a doctor? Now that you mention it, I remember a long time ago. The kimchi of the Koreans is very funny. They went to other countries to participate in exhibitions and promotions, but they actually used our Sichuan kimchi jars to package their products. That's because our Sichuan kimchi is really delicious, and it's soaked in culture. That jar is not ordinary. Sometimes, when I think about it, I feel quite depressed and helpless. Japan and Korea always turn our Chinese things into theirs and then promote them in the world, especially chopsticks. The Japanese are very disgusting. They make the back of the chopsticks round and dare to call it chopsticks. How ignorant. They don't even care about the connotation of their culture. The sky is round and the earth is round, so one end is round and the other end is square. The most infuriating thing is that our own country's people look at the chopsticks of the Japanese and feel that they are noble when they use them. When they buy them back, the chopsticks are round at the top and the bottom. There is no distinction between heaven and earth, and there is no ruler or minister. In the face of such a situation, we are very helpless. What can we do? When they learn it, they will apply in the world and say that it is theirs. What can we do? Zhang Xiaobao also looked at the crowd waiting in line. The people below seemed to be very happy. In fact, the medical center was also free. Why would they come to squeeze when they were not sick? Wang Wan looked at the clouds in the distance, hinting that she should not think about other sad things. She said to Zhang Xiaobao, Yes, you also told me before, right? You said that it's not that we don't want to apply in the world that belongs to us. When the time comes, we will confirm the location. It's that we casually take out something, a festival, and a civilization that has been passed down for thousands of years. All the things in our lives belong to our precious Chinese civilization. But can we apply? Chapter 1268. That's right. Zhang Xiaobao pushed open the window and waved his arm at the people below. When he got a response, he said, Let's talk about our daily lives. When the child is 1 month old, is it a courtesy to treat others to a meal? When the child is 1 year old, is it a courtesy? Anyone with a bit of money should do it. Do you want to apply? If you don't, you can apply in other countries and become their property. If you apply, you can spend money and go through the procedures. When the child grows up and gets engaged, do you want to apply? Get married, do you want to apply? If you don't apply, other people apply, and you become their property. When we eat, we can use chopsticks, plates, and other dining utensils and habits. When we eat crabs, we can apply for yellow wine and seasonings. When we wear clothes, we can apply for jackets and gowns. When we wear them, we can apply for them. When we eat chili soup, tofu pudding, fried dough sticks, shortbread, and other things for breakfast, we can apply for them. When we pass on our civilization, we can apply for them. Just tell us. Every action and action of theirs is a sign of civilization. How can we apply? We will die of exhaustion. Japan's sushi and sashimi are world famous. Where did they learn it from? Korea's barbecue is delicious. Where did they learn it from? This is the helplessness of a country with thousands of years of civilization. It's not that we don't want to fight, but everything around us is up for grabs. It's too painful. If we don't have such a long history like the US, wouldn't it be easier? Who is it? Who is it that has been passing on our civilization? Sinners, look at how tired we are. Ha 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 ha. Wang Wan laughed and patted Zhang Xiaobao's back. Shameless. You are obviously praising your own people, but you still have to act like you have a deep hatred. Since you know, let's work together to spread the Tang Empire's words everywhere. Whoever dares to not submit will be hindering the progress of world unification. Why are they fighting downstairs? As Wang Wan was talking, she suddenly noticed a person arguing with the doctor sitting on the second seat on the left. As they were far away and it was noisy downstairs, she couldn't hear what was going on. Zhang Xiaobao also noticed it. Let's go down and take a look. Forget it, let's get someone to report it. What if someone is deliberately leading us down to assassinate us? Assassinate? Izhou City is very peaceful. As Wang Wan spoke, she went to the door and gave an order. Not long after, the person who had been sent to inquire about the situation came up and explained the situation to Zhang Xiaobao. It turned out that he was the son of a wealthy family. He knew that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were in Izhou and wanted to meet them, but he couldn't find an opportunity to do so, so he went to the school to donate money. Normally, people who donated money would leave with a receipt, but he insisted on having a meal with the children. Recently, the weather had become hot. When the children had their meals, there was an additional dish. It was not a dish, but congee. It was mung bean congee with rock sugar. Every child would drink a bowl of it after they finished their meal. Then, they could take a fruit plate and walk around as they pleased. They just had to bring the plate back when they finished eating. The young master of the wealthy family also drank the porridge. In the end, one of the children found a worm in the porridge. It was a very small worm. Adults usually ignored it, but the child drank it seriously. Half of the worm was exposed outside, and the other half was in a boiled green bean that had bloomed. The worm in the mung bean was actually more nutritious. The child hated worms, so he picked it out and threw it on the table. It was then seen by the son of a wealthy family who was donating money for the first time. He thought that the congee he drank also had worms in it, or at least the water used to cook the worm went into his stomach. For the past 2 days, he had been feeling uncomfortable in his stomach. He often pressed his stomach and put his hand on his stomach when he slept. Then, he started to have diarrhea. It had been 3 days, and he hadn't recovered. Today, the doctor saw him and said that he was not sick. He asked him to make a waist protector and wrap it around his navel when he slept at night. He would be fine when the time came. To be honest, was the son of a wealthy family sick? Yes, diarrhea was definitely a kind of illness no matter how you explained it. However, the doctor was very experienced. He knew what was going on after asking and taking the pulse. There was no need to prescribe medicine. He was affected by his emotions, so he had diarrhea. Because the son of a wealthy family always felt that there was something wrong there, he would cover it and stroke it. That was the stomach and intestines. When he stroked it, he would be stimulated. Once he forgot to touch it, the temperature was different, and the flora would be different. Coupled with his own psychological suggestion, how could he not have diarrhea? The doctor considered it very clearly. With a waist protector, the temperature would be there. Besides, he would always feel that there was something there. After a long time, he would get used to it and forget it. At that time, the diarrhea would be fine. There was no need to use medicine. However, the son of a wealthy family got angry. He said that he was sick, very sick, but the doctor lied to him and didn't prescribe medicine for him. He said that his family was very rich and didn't need to take advantage of the imperial court. He was willing to spend money to buy medicine and asked the doctor to tell him the truth. Sick, sick, Zhang Xiaobao said after he knew the reason. You became a doctor. The doctor said there was nothing wrong. Wang Wan stuck her head out and said to Zhang Xiaobao, Wife, in your opinion, shouldn't there be several swimming pools for the children to play in the newly built district? A very big one with corresponding facilities. Zhang Xiaobao also looked at the people who were quarreling and said. Even Wang Wan, who was used to Zhang Xiaobao's jumping and coherent thinking, was stunned by Zhang Xiaobao's words. She knew that whenever Zhang Xiaobao changed the topic, he would consider all the calculations and it would be related to the current matter. It sounded very strange. There was no connection between swimming pools and illness, but in the end, there must be an inevitable connection. It was very strange. The same thing had happened many times before. In the end, it proved that the change of topic didn't change the situation. It still had an impact on the current situation, and it was a very direct kind of impact. Therefore, Wang Wan became cautious. She followed Zhang Xiaobao's words and said, Indeed, children are not like us, who dare to exercise at the age of 1. That is because we are familiar with the situation of the body. If we let the children run and walk on the sand, they will be tired and get sick in the end. However, swimming is different. Swimming is the soft contact of the body with the surrounding environment. As long as the child is tired, it will be shown immediately. It is very difficult for you to persist unless you have undergone professional training. If you run, it is different. The body's endurance is different, and the child will be sick. According to what you said, we really need several very big artificial swimming pools. When the children want to exercise, they can swim. When they are tired, they can find a floating device and soak in the water to relax. At the same time, if there is sunlight, it can make the body healthier. That's right. Swimming is suitable for people of any age, as long as they have a good rhythm of rest. However, building a good swimming pool costs money, and so does treating illnesses. Do you think we can use the money to treat illnesses and build swimming pools? Zhang Xiaobao looked at the young man who was arguing with the doctor and was delaying things. He was not angry at all. Instead, he looked as if he was looking at a gold ingot. Wang Wan looked sadly at the person who was still arguing with the doctor. She thought to herself, This big brother, you chose the wrong place. Why do you have to go downstairs where Xiao Bao is to provoke the doctor? Look, Xiao Bao has his eyes on you, right? That's fine too. We can build a few big swimming pools with 1,000 strings of coins. That's the cost. We can make our own tiles at home, so the cost will be very low. Since you waited for us to come before pretending to donate money to the school, we'll let you pay more. As she thought about it, Wang Wan said softly to Zhang Xiaobao, Be merciful, or rather, don't be so ruthless. You have to know the severity of the treatment. You have to know that treating illnesses and swimming pools are actually related. Zhang Xiaobao replied to Wang Wan. Wang Wan nodded and muttered, Your way of thinking is really scary. No wonder Li Longji failed time and time again. What is the connection between treating illnesses and swimming pools? Only you can make the connection. Saying that your deception skills are unparalleled is not wrong at all. Oh, I am not belittling you at all. Wang Wan's muttering was not loud, but Zhang Xiaobao still heard it. He turned around and smiled. It's a professional habit. If I don't cheat at least once when I see an opportunity, I will feel that I am not professional enough. I believe you also know my achievements. The trick is dialectical materialism. After learning it well, there is nothing that can't be done. Whether I cheat or not depends on my heart, because it is unified and opposite. Any accident is inevitable. Everything in the world is connected. Jumping out of the fixed thinking, grasping time and space, and fully utilizing human nature, this is the foundation of deception. Okay, I admit that you are good. What is the highest level of deception? Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao from the corner of her eyes. Then we have to talk about the first two levels first. The first is, if you want to cheat in reality, your heart will follow. The second level is when your heart is deceiving, but reality is not deceiving. The third level is, there is no self, no heart, and no deception, right? Wang Wan continued. Chapter 1269. Doctor, please take a look at me. I'm really sick. If I'm not sick, who will have diarrhea? Doctor, tell me the truth. Can my illness still be cured? When the doctor began to treat others, the rich man was still talking. He didn't dare to stop the doctor from treating others, nor did he dare to threaten the people in line, but he could pester the doctor and keep talking, slowing down the doctor's diagnosis. The doctor said to a person sitting in front of him, "There's no problem. You're healthy. It's hot, so pay attention to prevent sunstroke." "Thank you, doctor." The person stood up happily and thanked the doctor. He didn't forget to glare at the troublemaker next to him. "I'll give you a prescription." The doctor had no choice but to look at the rich man and say. The rich man immediately nodded. Yes, I'll pay for the prescription. I have money. You should have prescribed me a long time ago." The doctor gently shook his head. "I still want to give you a piece of advice. According to the rules, when a doctor treats people, he won't use medicine if he can. If he can treat externally, he won't treat internally. If he can take medicine, he won't use needles. If he can use needles, he won't use a drip. If he can use a drip, he won't do surgery. First, there aren't many good medicines in Tang. Several departments are still jointly researching. They may not be able to treat the illness, especially the anti-inflammatory ones. Second, the amount of medicine produced is limited. We don't expect to make money by selling the medicine. If you use it and others don't need it, they will regret it. Third, if you eat too much medicine, you will develop resistance. If you have the same illness in the future, you will need to adjust the type of medicine or increase the amount of medicine. If you get sick again after a long time, there will be no medicine to treat you. When the people who were waiting for the doctor to see if they were sick heard the doctor's words, they all showed a look of realization. It turned out that the doctor had to pay attention to this. It was really not easy. At least, it was a test of medical skills. Otherwise, it would be convenient to come up and use a drip. It would save the doctor a lot of trouble. It never occurred to him that the doctor had to clearly distinguish the treatment method for people. Ordinary doctors might not understand it. The rich man didn't care about that. When he heard that the doctor was willing to prescribe medicine for him, he nodded happily. "Whatever you say, as long as there is medicine to take." The doctor was helpless. He raised his pen and planned to prescribe some medicine to treat the intestinal flora. The Ministry of Works produced 2 kinds of medicine that could treat this illness. Unfortunately, there weren't many. But when he put the pen to the paper, the doctor had an idea and prescribed a comfort pill. It had no medicinal effect and could only provide psychological comfort. This medicine was very suitable for the situation at hand. After writing it down, the doctor said to the rich young master, "Go to the clinic and get the medicine yourself. 3 times a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and once in the evening. Take 2 pills each time. Today is the first time you take it, so you can take 4 pills. After 3 days, you will basically recover. After the first time you take it, you will find that your body is getting better." "Really? You finally gave me a prescription. I'll give you the money." Thank you, doctor. You really have medical ethics. I'll be fine in 3 days. Your medical skills are also very high," the rich young master said happily. Then, He took out some money from his pocket and pulled out a note with a large amount of money written on it. The doctor did not refuse. He indicated that it was not appropriate for him to reach out and take the money. He asked the rich man to put it beside the table and gave a look to the person standing behind him. The person took the money while the doctor washed his hands and prepared to see the next person. The people around them did not say anything. They knew that the doctor of the Zhang family and the Wang family would not care about this small amount of money. He would probably use it on welfare later, just like the donation box. The rich young master turned around and was about to leave when he suddenly turned back. "Doctor, I think I have a bad stomach and I ate a bug. The bug is not dead. I didn't say it just now. You only gave me medicine for a bad stomach. Where is the anti-bug medicine?" The doctor began to grit his teeth. He thought to himself, "Should I give you some medicine to treat mental illness? You are being unreasonable." "It's over, madam. Look, that kid is going to die." Just as the doctor was about to use the psychological suggestion again, a voice came from behind him. The voice was old. The doctor turned his head, and the eyes of the people nearby also swept over. However, the rich young master glared angrily. It was fine for him to say that he was sick, but if the patient cursed him, he would not be happy. When everyone looked over, they saw a woman with a veil covering her face standing there gracefully. Beside her was an old man with white hair and a white beard. His hair was tied up in a ponytail with a wooden hairpin. This old man was wearing a blue gown and a pair of shoes with 1,000 soles. He held a gourd in one hand and placed the other in front of his chest. He was shaking his head. "Ching Hong, there is no need to say more. Everyone has their own destiny. Let's go." The woman's clear voice sounded as she stepped forward. The old man had his back facing the direction the woman was walking in. He pretended to walk forward, and then his body moved backward. His eyes were fixed on the rich young master. After more than 10 steps, he shook his head again and turned to follow the woman. Everyone was stunned for a moment. What was going on? The old man looked like he was walking forward. Why was his body moving backward? The rich young master's eyes widened and his mouth opened. "Ching Hong, is this a Buddhist name or a Taoist name? Amazing. Immortal, wait for me. I am sick. Help, wait for me." After shouting, he chased after the old man. The doctor angrily slammed the table and stood up. He thought to himself, "Who is so bold? Who dares to lie to our family? Cheating under the young master's house is purely a joke. Don't you understand that in front of the young master, there is no lie in the world?" Just as he was about to move, someone came over and pressed on the doctor's shoulder, whispering a few words in his ear. After hearing this, the doctor smiled and sat back down. The old man, who had already gone far away, and the woman got into a car. The car moved forward at a moderate speed. The old man in the car put down the gourd and rubbed his legs with both hands. He complained as he rubbed, "I should have changed places. That broken road is so tiring. If I walk 2 more steps, I will be exposed." You are bullying others because they have never seen this kind of sliding. In a while, someone will realize. Your feet are rubbing on the ground. Do you think others are stupid? The woman chuckled and said, "They can't react. The time is too short. What is there to be afraid of rubbing my feet on the ground? Maybe they think I am shrinking. Listen, that guy is still chasing behind and shouting that the swimming pool is settled. The doctor's place is also quiet." The old man's voice changed this time. It was Zhang Xiaobao's. Wang Wan, who was sitting next to them, was a little pitiful for the person chasing behind. She said to Zhang Xiaobao, "You say, is it good to lie to people? His family is doing a decent business. He has an uncle who is a 5th-level official in the capital. Just because he is delaying the doctor's treatment, you lie to him? It's not called lying. I am helping him. Didn't the investigation say that he always wants to make a lot of money through his own efforts and then buy as many lottery tickets as he can? I let him invest some money to build the swimming pool. Later, I will give him an idea and let him put his mind on business. This is great kindness. A kind person like me. Is it getting less and less? You are lying to people while saying that you are doing a good thing. Then, you give him an idea to do something reliable. You still leave merits. It is too hard for you. Good person, I will burn incense for you when I go home and set up a long life memorial tablet for you. Wang Wan teased Zhang Xiaobao. At the same time, she was very excited. It had been a long time since she saw Xiaobao lie to people. But it was good to lie to that guy. Otherwise, he would have nothing to do all day. After about a quarter of an hour, they arrived at a park in Yizhou City. Although it was called a park, there were no walls. This place was developed later. The area was not small. In the past, it was a slum. It was dirty and difficult to treat. The terrain was also low. When there was a lot of rain, mosquitoes and flies would wreak havoc. Later, when the city was expanded, it was moved away. The people were very happy and lived in new houses. Fewer people fell ill in the summer. A small lake was dug out and connected by winding rivers and canals. A gravel road was paved and flowers and trees were planted. In the summer, people had a place to play. They could hold an open-air barbecue, go boating, and rent a place to sell snacks. After 2 years, they had earned back half of the money they had invested. It was estimated that in 4 or 5 years, they would be able to make a profit. The money would be returned to the government. The barbecue area in the park was designated. It was only allowed to be barbecued in that area. Those who wanted to bring their own food in had to pay 2 coins. Then, when they were barbecuing, they could throw away the bamboo skewers and paper towels. After they finished eating, they would leave. Someone would come and clean the place. The money they paid was for the person who cleaned the place. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan got out of the car. They were going to the barbecue area. Originally, they wanted to take their younger brothers and sisters out for a walk. However, the little guys had their eyes on the boy who liked to play games. They didn't know what the little guys were going to do. Were they going to use fatigue tactics to make the little boy feel uncomfortable when he saw Monopoly in the future? Or were they going to use Monopoly to give him more in-depth education? They were going to increase the difficulty of the game. When the level was high, they would learn a lot about geography and biology while playing. For example, the simplest Monopoly game could be played by just rolling a die. Wherever they reached, they would put a sign that belonged to them and wait for others to enter to collect money. Xiao Bei and the others played a different game. They had to consider many things. For example, after rolling the die twice, they would reach a market. If they wanted to own a share, they would buy 20 carts of food. When they played the die again, they would move forward, and when they sold the food to make money. When it rained, the food would become moldy and lose money. Adults found this kind of game interesting. Children could learn a lot of common knowledge from it. It was more useful than learning from books. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan couldn't guess what the little guys were going to do, so they left them at home to play games with others. The 2 of them could enjoy the scenery of the park while enjoying the barbecue. At the same time, they could also trick the rich young master. The 2 of them felt that life was too beautiful. They only envied mandarin ducks and not immortals. Oh my God, it's so good to be an immortal. I'm not afraid of getting sick. Immortal, immortal, wait for me, I'm sick. The rich young master ran all the way to the park. When he saw a woman and an old man get off the car and walk inside, he waved his hands and shouted. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan acted as if they didn't hear him. They still walked at a leisurely pace. They didn't even take the barbecue. The coachman had already found a shady place to stop. He took out a book and read while waiting. Chapter 1270. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan entered the barbecue area, the rich man behind them was still chasing and shouting. He was also tired after running all the way. God save me, I'm sick. The rich man didn't care if there were others around him and shouted very stubbornly. When he ran to the 2 people in front, the 2 people turned around and looked at him. One of them said, "This person is sick. You can see it too." The rich man heard the voice and asked in surprise. The man curled his lips. "You're seriously sick?" "Yes, yes, I'm dying. I won't talk to you anymore. I'm going to chase the god." The rich man was more and more convinced that he was sick, and he secretly scolded the doctor before for being a quack. When he chased into the barbecue area, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were choosing a grill. They didn't bring anything when they came, so they had to spend more money to rent or buy something here. The barbecue area specialized in renting and selling these things, and the price was 10% higher than outside. For example, a normal grill 1 meter long, the standard one outside was 95 copper coins, but here it was 105 copper coins, and if it was rented, it would be 7 copper coins, and it would be recouped after a dozen or so rentals. Some people found it troublesome and didn't bring anything when they came out to barbecue, so they bought it here. Or some people brought their own grill and had to take it back to repair, so they rented it first. Some people made money, and some people got convenience. There were all kinds of grills, and you could even roast a whole lamb if you wanted. In addition to the grill, there were also sticks. There were 2 kinds of materials, bamboo and iron, and the thickness and length were different. It depended on what you wanted to roast. If the meat was big, you could only use iron sticks. If it was bamboo, it would be tiring. You had to keep fanning, otherwise, you would break the sides. If the meat was small, you could use bamboo. After roasting it, there would be a smell of bamboo. There were also shops selling charcoal around. Bamboo charcoal, and stone charcoal were all available, and there were also several kinds of special wood. Perhaps some people felt that they were good at cooking and wanted to show off by smoking and roasting. The most important thing was the food provided by the barbecue area. Other than beef, there were all kinds of normal meat. Of course, there were no tigers or pandas. Pandas were not allowed to be eaten now. Under normal circumstances, tigers could not be caught and sold here. Occasionally, there would be frozen wolf meat, snake meat, and bamboo rats. These were all strange things. Most people wouldn't buy them and could only freeze them. Normally, the meat of mutton, pork, and poultry would be delivered early in the morning with ice placed underneath to maintain a relatively low temperature. Otherwise, it would not be easy to sell the meat when it was almost evening. As for the meat that was bad, it could not be bad, but the color would change and the meat would gradually loosen. When people pressed it, they would shake their heads and not buy it. Not far from where the meat was sold, there were vegetables and soy products. There were also mushrooms and the like. The vegetables were placed separately, just like the meat. The price was 20% higher than outside. The soy products were even 30% higher. The mushrooms were only slightly more expensive. It was not that they did not want to raise the price of the vegetables and meat, but the people in charge of the park did not allow it. If the price was too high, people would not buy it. The park was a long-term place, and they could not suddenly scare people away. Next to the vegetables were seasonings. There was even a special piece of land in the park where onions and other green vegetables were planted. Usually, the people in charge of the park would eat it themselves. If someone wanted to buy it, they could go in and pick it. This was expensive. Otherwise, the people in charge of the park would have to go out and buy it themselves. The previous provincial governor was really good. Don't look at it as a simple park. With it, not only did it solve the sanitation and environmental problems of the local slums, but it will also provide profits for the government in the future. More importantly, this park can make people closer to each other and increase the harmonious relationship between the local people. When people of all classes enter the park, there will be less of a sense of hierarchy, especially when everyone brings their families and children to run around. Many of the barriers created by society itself will be reduced. Everyone may have different attitudes towards the same adults, but they treat their children the same. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the idle and busy people and praised the outgoing provincial governor. The provincial governor had already entered the capital and had been evaluated as excellent for 3 consecutive years. In the last year, he had completed the construction of this park and received an excellent evaluation. This was personally said by Zhang Xiaobao. He wanted to use this method to tell the other officials that when considering the economy, They should consider the relationship between the environment and the people's livelihood. After Zhang Xiaobao, who rarely directly participated in the affairs of the imperial court officials, took action that time, countless officials were excited. It turned out that the road to the capital was so easy. At that time, Li Longji shook his head and said to Gao Li Shi that it was easy to enter the capital, but it was not easy to do things with a heart for the people. He wanted to see how many people could persevere. Wang Wan also thought highly of the previous provincial governor. He was a capable official, but he could not always let a capable official stay in one place. After a long time, it would cause the local people to only recognize the official and forget the emperor. Just like her and Xiao Bao, the two of them could not stay in one place for too long. Even if they were now holding the position of Commander-in-Chief of the Bohai Commander-in-Chief and Deputy Provincial Governor of Northern Hebei Province, the two of them still had to leave. The reason why they did not send other officials there was because other officials there could not come up with a good idea. That was the country's military and economic strategic location. Therefore, it was easy for others to do things wrong. At the same time, Shi and Xiao Bao could not enter the capital to be officials, because Xiao Bao's father was a minister there. In other words, the two of them would always be wandering around the country. Immortal, fairy, I finally caught up. I am crazy. While Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were thinking about local governance issues, the rich man came over breathlessly. After greeting the two of them, he was thirsty and pointed at the open bamboo shop next to him. Give me a cup of water and some salt. Oh, 3 cups. What if the immortal is thirsty too? In the open door of the small shop, someone immediately brought 3 cups of water. The rich man took one first and held it in front of Zhang Xiaobao. Old immortal, drink some water. Zhang Xiaobao did not immediately take the cup. Instead, he stared at the rich man's hand holding the cup. He looked as if he was calculating, muttering some inexplicable words such as fingerprints matching stars, length matching heaven and earth, and so on. After he finished calculating, Zhang Xiaobao said to the rich man, "It is fate that we meet. Forget it. I will give you a ride today. Young Master Huang, drink some water and take a rest. We will talk about other things." How do you know my surname is Huang? The rich man was frightened. But after thinking about it, he became excited again. Yes, you are right. My surname is Huang. My father named me Yao Ben, the name Lu Yuan. It means that one should not forget one's origin in the long journey of life. Is it right to protect the prosperity of the Huang family? Zhang Xiaobao did not wait for him to finish. He looked up at the sky and said, Yes, yes, yes. Immortal, you are really an immortal. My name is Huang Yao Ben. My surname is Lu Yuan. That's right, that's right. This year 1 year has passed, and 3 months have passed. 21 years and 3 months have passed. Is it right? Yes, it is right. Immortal, how did you calculate? Can I learn it? Huang Yao Ben, whose name and age were calculated, asked expectantly. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. Yes or no, it is up to fate. Drink the water. Okay, I will drink. Fate, I am definitely a person of fate. Huang Yao Ben raised his head and poured the water into his stomach. He asked again, Immortal, you too are here today for... I have not eaten for many years. I miss it. Today, I will eat a little. Looking at the endless celestial palaces, but missing the noise of the mortal world. Zhang Xiaobao saw a tree branch moving in the distance. He quickly adjusted his direction as he spoke. A gust of wind blew, causing his hair and beard to fly in the wind. This time, not only was the person who delivered the water and Huang Yao Ben dumbfounded, Wang Wan was also full of admiration. He could even make use of the wind? It could be seen how deep the foundation of deception was. Professional, really professional. The waiter who delivered the water swallowed his saliva and asked carefully, Immortal, may I ask, do you know my surname? Yang, your name is Yang Dongshui. Zhang Xiaobao answered quickly this time. The waiter bent his knees and was about to kneel. Zhang Xiaobao reached out and helped him up. Then, his eyes could not leave Zhang Xiaobao. He wanted to remember the immortal's appearance. Immortal, immortal, what else can you calculate? The waiter asked again. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. You don't need to search for immortals. Just ask your heart. I will give you a word, righteous. Walk the right path, maintain a righteous heart, and your future will be limitless. Go, go. Oh, I remember. I will be a good person in the future. When I sell things, I will not lie. I am loyal and patriotic. I will be good to the elderly and children. I will work seriously and not be afraid of hard work. The waiter promised. The more he spoke, the straighter his back became. Zhang Xiaobao waved his hand again. The waiter retreated with a respectful expression. You go and rest first. I will wait and see. Zhang Xiaobao said to Huang Yaoben. Huang Yaoben also respectfully found a place to sit. There were many chairs of different lengths. He did not need to spend any money to sit. When Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao stood by the lake, she asked puzzledly, Huang Yaoben, this is the one we asked people to investigate. As for the other waiter, how do you know he is called Yang Dong Shui? He is a waiter here. It is written on the sign in front of his chest. There is also a portrait that looks similar to him. Below it is a certificate from the medical center. It says that he is very healthy and does not have any infectious diseases. Didn't you see it? Zhang Xiaobao explained in a low voice. Wang Wan angrily glared at Zhang Xiaobao and muttered, Liar. Thank you. Zhang Xiaobao bowed and thanked him with the gourd. Huang Yaoben, who had rested for a while, ran over and stood behind Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He did not dare to make a sound as he curiously looked at the lake. He did not know why these two immortals liked to stand here. Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao also did not speak. The two of them enjoyed the beautiful scenery of the lake together. If there was no Huang Yaoben, it would be even better. The two of them could lean against each other and hum while watching the willows move and the water ripple in the wind. Thinking that there was still someone waiting to be deceived, the two of them temporarily put down their good mood. They turned around and looked at Huang Yaoben at the same time. Huang Yaoben opened his eyes. His gaze was full of expectation. Young Master Huang, tell me about this park. What did you experience in the secular world? Zhang Xiaobao wanted to understand Huang Yaoben more. He wanted to have a better understanding of Huang Yaoben so that after deceiving him, he could think of a better way out. Huang Yaoben thought about it and sighed, It is too sad to be sick in the secular world. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.